Giants Nation? What's going on a Victory Monday, man? I hope y'all are feeling as good as I am feeling today, man. That is the biggest win I can remember in a very, very, very long time, man. I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this Victory Monday, and I'm going to thoroughly enjoy this Victory Week. Hope y'all are doing good on this Monday afternoon. A little bit late there, I'd say about a good minute, maybe a little pinch there. I was in the wrong StreamYard room, but y'all know what it is, man. I'm very lackadaisical on a Victory Monday like today, man. The Giants go into London, defeat the Packers 27-22, man. We were down by 20-10 at the half, down by 10 points, and the Giants defense pitches a second half shutout to watch the New York Giants improve to 4-1, man. I am feeling fantastic. Hope y'all doing well. I saw a couple of y'all in the chat bright and early. My man Sank Zappa hit the chat. He beat you, Jameson. So you're going to have to get here a little bit earlier, man, if you want to be first in the chat like you normally are. I'm going to say what's up to some people here in the chat one time, man, then we'll get going into these overreactions, man. Y'all know what it is, man, here on the Giant Overreaction. We're going to thoroughly enjoy today's show, man. It's kind of like a victory lap. I hope y'all enjoyed the title, too, man. We're going to give Daniel Jones his flowers today, man. That was an incredible performance by the kid, man. But let's say what's up to a couple people in the chat like we normally do here, and then we'll get going, man. Shout out to homie Sank Zappa in the building first today. Oh, shout out to homie James Williams, too, man. Definitely coming by, showing some love. Definitely appreciate that, fam. He says, salute, brother. You already know how I feel about Daniel Jones, but I will say that game was the best game he might have ever played as a Giant when you factor the opponent and how the game went. Definitely, man, and you got to factor in the injuries. You got to factor in what he was dealing with at wide receiver. We were slim pickings out there, man, and Daniel Jones, he went out there, man, and handled business, man. I think he, coming into that game with an injury like that, I think he played better than anybody could have thought he was going to play. We were just looking for him to come out here, pretty much play that game manager role and, rely on Saquon Barkley for a victory there. But Daniel Jones did some things, man. That passing attack looked a lot better than we expected. But shout out to the homie James Williams one time in the building. Y'all know what it is, man. Jameson in the building one time. Simon Coleman is in the building. 4-1, man. Feels great. I'm hyped today. I'm definitely hyped. We got Marjorie in the building, dropping those bombs one time. Packers offense only had 3 drives in the second half. The Giants had an 11-play, 56-yard drive that lasted 7 minutes and 3 seconds and a 15-play, 91-yard drive that lasted 8:07. Now that is good football. Shout out to Marjorie dropping those bombs. That is great football, Marjorie. I'm excited that you in the building rocking with us today. And y'all already know how Marjorie does, dropping those bombs for us. We definitely appreciate you pulling up. Appreciate the whole Giants Nation in the building, man. I know we're going to get a lot of folks in here today after a big win like that. I see Edward Squires is in the building one time. Big Pat is in the building. I got to go chop it up with Big Pat on his channel, man. That was an excellent victory. I know Pat's going to be dropping a bunch of content this week. Make sure y'all pull up on him and show some love. If you're not a subscriber, go over there and hit that subscribe button. And speaking of subscribers, I got to salute y'all, man. We just hit 2,500 yesterday. That's a major, major, major victory in our books over here at Awthentik and the Beard. So salute to y'all for showing up and showing out. I never thought we were going to even get to 2,500, let alone 250. And here we are, you know. So shout out to everybody that's been an inspiration to this channel. We're going to try to continue to bring y'all that high-quality content as we do over here. My homie Stan was in the DMs bright and early, man. Shout out to homie Stan one time. He says, Sock Passe fam. Really enjoyed going to M&T Bank Stadium in prime time and watching Lamar play. My takeaway is we can win next week. That is wild coming from Stan. Stan is he's turning the corner on these New York Giants. You know, Stan was pretty much, very down about us the first 4 weeks, including this 5th week here. But going into week 6, says we got a chance against Lamar. I'll definitely take it, man. Shout out to the homie Stan one time. Y'all know what it is. We got Brian in the building. Brian, I appreciate you retweeting the link for this, man. That goes a long way. I definitely appreciate that, fam. And appreciate you rocking with us being in the building. We got a ton of y'all in here. Anthony Kivler's in the building. Shout out Anthony one time. Formula Fitness in the building, man. We lit, man. David's in the building. Good to see David in the building and not working. 4-1, man. Looking real, real nice. Taj in the building. I see y'all, man. The gang is in the building. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets in the building one time. I'm overreacting the whole week. Hey, listen, I told y'all, if the Giants went into London and beat the Packers, I was going to be acting a fool on Twitter. And that's all y'all going to see from me this week. I just posted that video clip of Wink Martindale in the locker room celebrating with Jihad Ward and a few other Giants. Kayvon Thibodeau was in there, man, and they was acting a fool in the locker room. Shout out to them, turning up to some Cardi B and Glorilla right after the game, man. The vibes in the locker room was just amazing, man. Like, one of these days, I'm going to get to cover the Giants. I'm going to get to bring a camera out there and be able to do some reporting from the sidelines. That's one of my goals for the next couple of years. We definitely gonna get there. But salute to No Mets, No Nets, No Jets in the building, man. You've been rocking with us since day one. You already know what it is over here, man. And my homie The Beard one time is in the building. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Congratulations to the Giants community from The Beard. I was in the chat for William Steele's channel this morning, and a lot of people was talking about you, The Beard. They were just saying, like, I know The Beard's going through it, man. The only NFC East team in the dumpster right now. We're going to get y'all right, man. You know what it is. Real people's in the building rocking with Awthentik. Y'all know what it is, man. Giant overreaction. Week 5, man. This is going to be a really, really, really solid one. Can't wait to get into some of these numbers, talk about some of these key players in this matchup, man. This was a really good game to watch, man, and I really enjoyed it, man. Being down 17-3, I think that was the time when people were like, maybe it's time to panic a little bit. I kept my composure throughout that game, and then I was telling myself throughout it, man, if they could get one more touchdown, being the Packers, on top of that 17-3 lead, or even push it to a 20-3 lead, I was going to be extremely worried. And to keep it there at 17-3 and then be battling back, I always tell people Daniel Jones plays some of his best football when he's down by a couple of scores. You can see him just kind of loosen up a little bit, and all that pressure of not turning the ball over kind of goes away. And speaking of turnovers, I saw somebody, I think it was Dan Dugan, who tweeted this out this morning, talking about we got to stop saying Daniel Jones is a turnover machine. That narrative is being pushed a lot, especially on Twitter, and I think we got to ditch that narrative. He had some percentages on the statistics. I'll bring those to y'all attention on the show tomorrow when we do a deep dive and a deep recap on that game. But he was talking about how every year the turnovers have gone down per game. I think Daniel Jones is under 1 turnover per game now, including dating back to last season. So, man, big shout out to Daniel Jones. Definitely played a good game. And we're going to talk about it, man. I got about 4 or 5 overreactions that we'll get into. For those of y'all that don't know how we do over here on Awthentik and The Beard, we take takes from media and we take some takes from Twitter. And we post those takes on the screen. And if you agree with what you see on the screen, that means you want to take the under, which means you agree with it. If you do indeed think it is an overreaction, we'll need you to see an O in the chat. And if you need a push, you need a little bit more time to get your thoughts together on the topic at hand, you can put a P in the emoji or a hand emoji. You can put a P in the chat or you can put a hand emoji up, letting us know that you're going to be taking the push. Most of the people here in my chat know how this goes along, so they'll guide you along. Look to the moderators to give you a little bit of direction. But, man, let's talk about it, man. This was a great game to go over, and let's talk about it one time. And on today's show, we're gonna pull up some of these overreactions, and we calling some people out today, man. I think if there's a time to completely just not be going against each other on Twitter, especially, and in the comment sections on YouTube, this is the week to do it. I mean, the Giants went out here and completely surprised the Packers in a game where almost everybody picked the Packers to win this game. If you are familiar with what I do over here, you know on all 3 shows that we did and a 4th show when I was on Entertainer's show the day before the game, I picked the Giants to win this game 23-20 because I feel the Giants are riding high on momentum right now. And they're just playing fantastic team football. They're led by a great coach in Brian Dable. I love what Kafka has been doing with the offensive play calling. And Wink Martindale, man. I mean, Wink Martindale, we cannot say enough about Wink Martindale. He's been going crazy this year. I mean, just sending these blitzes in the perfect times, too, man. What I saw with Xavier McKinney in this game with that late blitz on the 4th down to get the pressure in Aaron Rodgers' face. Don't even give him time to get his wits together, to get the thought together to be able to get these routes. He did see one-on-one on the outside. That's where it looked like he was going to go. And Wink sent the blitz from that exact side, got the pressure there. Xavier McKinney gets his hands on the ball. Game over, kind of, because we did get the Packers a little bit of a chance there at the end. With like just under 20 seconds left in the game. But, man, this was just a great team victory, man. And we went into this game extremely slim at the wide receiver position. I mean, when I was retweeting some of the stuff that Jordan Renan was talking about, who was going to be entering this game at the wide receiver position, people were giving me hell in the comments like, are you sure that that's all we're going to be bringing into the game? And that's what it was. We had Darius Slayton, Richie James, David Sills, and Marcus Johnson out there, wide receiver, man. It was scary to go into this game thinking that, right? But the product that came out from this game was excellent. Daniel Jones found a way to get things clicking, and, the rest is history. Offensively, we came out pretty slow with a slow start there, and defensively. I was extremely worried in the beginning of this game defensively, allowing Aaron Rodgers to just march down the field I saw a lot of people questioning the bend don't break philosophy with the New York Giants, but you got to understand that bend don't break means when you get into the red zone, that's when you really got to clamp down and really start playing some defense. We didn't see that, to a high level in the first half, but in the second half, man, they strapped up. That defense went to town and, kept the Packers scoreless in that second half. You saw Marjorie drop the bombs about only having 3 drives. I mean, that's fantastic defense. You got to give kudos to Wink Martindale and the rest of that coaching staff, especially defensively, to make the adjustment. And we've been talking about that a lot on this channel throughout the year. This coaching staff knows how to make those adjustments. And we're not talking about just week to week or just half to half. We're talking about in-game adjustments within a quarter, within a drive. You're seeing this coaching staff go out there and continuously make the proper adjustments to go out there and get victories for the New York Giants. To be sitting at 4-1, it's amazing, man. And I just can't thank this coaching staff enough. The whole Giants community, the vibes are on 1,000 now. We can wake up smiling. We can feel great about it. And like I said, man, this victory, this goes down in history. This is definitely Daniel Jones' signature victory. I was going to use that as one of the Giant overreactions. Shout out to my homies over there at NY Revival. I saw Hefe and Spiros both put out some tweets that were saying, like, this was Daniel Jones' staple win. And I agree. This was definitely a staple win. I won't go out and say that this was his best game, but I will say that with everything, going into this game and all the circumstances, Daniel Jones went out there. He completely just showed out. So I'm giving my flowers. Y'all saw the title. We're going to give flowers to Daniel Jones on this podcast and a few other players too. And before we do that, shout out to the homie David one time in the building, man. Definitely appreciate that. $9.99 super chat one time. He said, coffee on me. I live in Chicago, so there's a lot of Packers fans out here. Last night at work, there's 3 Packers fans talking smack all week. I showed up in a Giants hat, jersey, jacket with them UNC 6s. That's what I'm talking about, dog. I almost wore, Carl Banks gave me a Giants jacket last year during the year. Last year, first of all, shout out to the whole community because last year was ridiculous. I designed a pair of Nike Dunks on Photoshop, and I posted them on Twitter. Nike responded to me, told me they liked the design. Months go by, I'm thinking it's nothing. They discontinued doing the Nike Dunk IDs, so I knew I couldn't get them like that. And then like 4 or 5 months later, I get a box from Nike on my front doorstep with a pair of Nikes, the ones that I designed. So I got a pair of 1-on-1 Nikes. People were going crazy on Twitter about it and telling Carl Banks, a lot of people in the Giants community and Giants fans telling Carl Banks, like, yo, we need to lace Awthentik with something to go with the Nike Dunks that he just got from Nike. Carl Banks sent me this fire starter jacket, New York Giants jacket. I almost wore it today, but I went and brought back the flannel. I wanted to bring the top button back on them West Coast style because we straight Debo'd that game. Like, the Giants were not supposed to win that game. But, David, I don't blame you for getting fresh in all the gear. I didn't want to go OD and come out with all blue on a Giants victory Monday. I might wait till maybe tomorrow's show to flex the jacket. I know that's not, the Bears not going to enjoy that too much because they struggling out there. But, as far as the New York Giants Nation goes, man, it's been a great 24 hours so far. Not even 24 hours. It's been a great, 12 hours so far. Got the greatest sleep I've gotten all season, man. But shout out to you, David. Definitely appreciate that super chat, man. And, that goes a long way supporting the channel over here one time. And shout out to Sebastian one time in the building, man. Appreciate that $2 super chat for just 2 words. Daniel Jones. I know that's right, man. We're going to give our quarterback some flowers today. And anybody out there, spreading them negative vibes today, man, y'all know what it is, man.
Spike don't care.
We're not going for that today, man. Y'all know what it is, man. So shout out to the Giants Nation, man. Shout out to the gang. Y'all know what it is, man. Appreciate y'all showing some love early in this episode, man. And definitely appreciate those couple of super chats coming in right at the beginning of the show. All right, man. So let's get into it, man. Let's talk about him. Let's talk about him for at least a week. We got to talk about him. All right, man. Daniel Jones, man. And when you look at the numbers, man, it's another week where you could look at these numbers and you could try to dissect these numbers and go, oh, man, it's an average game. That's not all that great. These aren't Patrick Mahomes type numbers. These ain't them Joe Burrow high statistics. This isn't, Tom Brady, 385, 2 touchdowns. Like I've been telling people, man, my homie was hitting me up in the DM on Twitter, trying to see where we could compare Daniel Jones to what quarterback and who he is from the past. Daniel Jones is a one of a kind, man. There is no quarterback like him. Let's just keep it funky, and that's why the statistics tend to look like this. And the Giants know from our past and in our history, we've had some quarterbacks that have gotten it done, not being the top-notch guy. I mean, I can go back to my childhood with quarterbacks like Jeff Hostetler and Phil Simms, guys who didn't light up the stat board, but I won't compare Daniel Jones to those guys either. And we could go back and we could look at the near history and we could talk about Eli Manning and the even, cool demeanor. I even saw some outlets trying to clip up clips of Daniel Jones far after the game where he was just sitting on the bench kind of just soaking everything in and trying to make it seem like that's how he was reacting after the game when in fact he was celebrating when we first won the game. But they want to try to paint a narrative that Daniel Jones is Eli Manning Jr., which he is not Eli Manning Jr. either. Daniel Jones is his own guy. He is his own type of quarterback. When you look at the way that this guy goes out here and he gets these W's, it's very untraditional. And our coaching staff this year finally is finding a way to be able to put Daniel Jones in the right positions to be able to make the plays, the key plays, to be able to win games, man. This guy's going out here and putting up decent numbers. It's not flashy, but he's going out there, and any Giants fan or any fan of football who's going out there and watching Daniel Jones play every snap, you see it. This is a gutsy kid. He's going out there. He's leaving everything out there on the field. He's trying to get the yards, and sometimes by fault he does that, where he can get himself into and put himself into a harmful position by going out there and trying to put the team on his back week in and week out. Now, I think this week, to me, this is the best game of Daniel Jones in 2022 so far. Some people want to go back and look at the Dallas game. It was a great effort, but for me, it was a losing effort. And Daniel Jones just, a couple of plays were left out there that weren't necessarily his fault. I think the Dallas Cowboys did a really good job scheming against Daniel Jones in the second half. They had that kid Wilson spying him the whole second half, which in return, Daniel Jones really couldn't get his legs going in that fourth quarter to be able to make those conversions that we're becoming accustomed to seeing now, at least in 2022 so far. But the kid went out there, put up 217 passing yards. I believe this is his first 200-yard game of the year. He was 21 of 27. He was highly efficient throwing the ball to a bunch of no-names. Like I said already, you had Richie James, David Sills, and Marcus Johnson out there to go with Darius Slayton. And then the 0 touchdowns and the 0 interceptions is okay because Daniel Jones is going out here and game managing. When we talked about the game plan on Thursday on our preview show, with the beard on the best division in football, I talked about it. This was going to be a game management type of game. I thought that one of the keys to victory was going to be that Daniel Jones had to come into this game without that ankle really bothering him. Now, we were doing a live parlay show during the first half of the game, and the beard said to me, he said, what's looking good about Daniel Jones is that he's not really hobbling right now. And I kind of gave him a little bit of pushback, and I said, I don't know, man. When he ran to the sidelines there, he kind of looked like he wasn't really going full speed. But as that game continued to progress and go on, the beard was completely right on that. Daniel Jones looked completely healthy out there. And I think that this coaching staff in the week before was just kind of playing it cautious. You're looking at a game where Daniel Jones gets knocked out with that ankle injury, and then you watch Tyrod Taylor get banged out with a concussion with a helmet-to-helmet hit that to me wasn't called, but that's neither here nor there. You kind of got to protect your quarterback at all costs now. And that's what they did. I'm glad that they didn't send Daniel Jones out there looking like how he did during the Joe Judge and Jason Garrett regime, where we sent them out there against the Cardinals, and he was clearly not 100%. In this game, you saw Daniel Jones. He beat the Green Bay Packers with his arm in this game. Yeah, he had some decent rushing numbers on the day. I want to say it was 6 carries. Let me see. I know I had those numbers here somewhere. Yeah, it was 7 carries for 41 yards on the day. Now, I think that people are going to try to, the Daniel Jones, I don't call them Daniel Jones haters because people try to lump me up in that. And really what it is some people are just critical. You got haters out there too, but they're not a bulk of the fan base. You got people that are critical. You got people that are overcritical, right? For me, I'm going to be critical of him. And when he balls out, you got to let it be known the kid balls out. In this game, he balled out. This week is not the week to be talking about everything else besides Daniel Jones. And I'm going to say it here first. We can't be like, oh, the coaching is great. Oh, the scheme is fantastic and the philosophy is this and that. Oh, Saquon Barkley, he's helping Daniel Jones. Now that he has Saquon Barkley, he's finally getting it done. The defense is giving Daniel Jones more opportunities. Listen, the New York Giants are 4-1 because of Daniel Jones. And I'm not saying solely because of Daniel Jones, because we saw what Saquon Barkley did in the first couple of weeks of football, and we saw what he did in this game, right? And we're going to get to that. But we got to also get rid of that narrative of, not giving Daniel Jones the flowers, myself included. I'm guilty of that at times as well. But we have a great coaching staff. Yeah, we've got a good scheme going on. But the crazy part about it, the offense is not even clicking to its potential quite yet. we saw this offense come out and really shoot themselves in the foot the first half. And Mike Kafka has been calling great game plans, but the running game really didn't get going. And I was very worried in that first quarter. I'm like, oh, man, you watch the Packers go up and they get that early lead against our Giants. And I'm looking at it like, this is not the recipe. As my man, the Beard, would say, this is not the roadmap that's going to get us to a victory. You know, and I'm looking at it like, oh, they got to make an adjustment fast. And thank God they made that adjustment early on in this game. And you get to the second quarter and you start to see the New York Giants are battling and they're getting back in the game. Then to go to the half and be down 20-10, it was an ideal situation for me. Yeah, I had a little bit of butterflies. Yeah, I was a little bit worried. And yeah, I was a little bit concerned. But I wasn't looking at it like, oh, man, we're out of this game. If the defense could go out there in that second half and get it together, and maybe we get a boost from the offense to be able to play a little bit higher than we've seen the first 4 weeks of football, I thought that we were going to have a chance in this game. Now, the defense went out there and they completely surprised me. They go out there and they pitch a shutout. But Daniel Jones, when Saquon Barkley goes out of that game, he leads us down the field for a drive to put up points on the board without his running back in the game and with scraps at wide receiver. And they were getting it done. Richie James out there getting it done. Darius Slayton was out there. He was getting it done. Daniel Bellinger, I can't say enough about him. I mean, Daniel Bellinger has been doing a fantastic job in the blocking schemes for the New York Giants. And this offensive line stepped up, man. This is the best pass blocking we've seen all season long from the New York Giants. And when I was on Entertainer's channel, you know, the day before the game, we talked about that. We talked about this offensive line and a lot of people, you know, giving them hell and whatnot. But don't overlook the way that this offensive line has been running the rock, man. The run blocking up front has been great all year long. And in return, that's why Saquon Barkley has been, you know, showing up and showing out. Shout out to my homie Patrick in the building one time. For those of y'all that don't know, this is the homie, the reason why I am a Giants fan. Shout out to his father. Rest in peace, man. I know he's smiling down from heaven after a victory like that, feeling great about them New York Giants, man. So shout out to homie Patrick one time in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up. I see Big Dash is in the building too one time, man. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Big Dash, man. Big Dash starting to remind me of myself a little bit with that high-quality content, man, and them good takes, man. I'm definitely excited myself, man. Giants are looking on the up and up right now, man, and it's great to be a New York Giants fan right now. Victor Cruz tweeted out just yesterday after the game. He said the world is a better place when the New York Giants are winning. And as a Giants fan, an avid New York Giants fan, I gotta 1,000% agree with him on that, man. Feeling great about it. So let's just talk about a couple of more of these stats, then we'll get into some of these overreactions. Salute to y'all, man. We got over 100 in the building already, and we're only about 20 minutes into the episode, man. So big salute to the Giants Nation. Y'all know what it is, man. We in the building today, man. Bright and early, man. And we got some big matchups next week. We're going to talk about those on Thursday on the channel. So make sure if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. We got 2 more shows before the week starts for week 6. 3 more shows, actually, including the parlay. We'll be doing an in-depth recap tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and then we'll be doing our preview for that Ravens matchup on Thursday at 7 p.m., man. And there's a big matchup this week on Sunday between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys Sunday night. So we know if we can get a W against them Ravens, man, we'll be able to inch a little bit closer to the top of this division right now, which is looking like we're getting back to that form that we talked about, reason why our podcast is called the best division in football. The NFC East, known as the NFC least last year, is changing that tune up a little bit, and we looking like we back in the building one time, man. So shout out to the NFC East, man, for playing really good football, making this competitive for our New York Giants, because in years past, this 4-1 record would have definitely had us at the top of the division. Instead, we kind of sitting here in looms around 2 or 3, but we going to make our way. We're going to keep clawing one game at a time until we get to the top of this division. And I'm feeling great about us right now, man. I went into the year as, you know, a bit skeptical. I was just talking to people about this on Twitter, man. Like, people want to wake up on Monday morning and be like, oh, I told you so. I told you. You got to listen to me. I'm the guy who knows everything. Look, man, I don't know more than any of these coaches, anybody in this front office, or anybody that's a professional that's, doing any kind of reporting on football. I'm here to just give you my opinion as a Giants fan. I hope you respect that, and you already know you're going to get the respect back from me. From the chat and whatnot. Y'all know what it is over here at Awthentik and the Beard, man. So let's talk about guy number 2 one time, man. Y'all know guy number 2 been guy number 1 the whole year. He was number 1 in rushing coming into this game. He falls back to number 2 after this game, and he's number 1 in the NFL right now in scrimmage yards. So shout out to this guy right here one time, who I've been calling Big Dog. Man, y'all know what it is, man. Every week we talking about this guy, Saquon Barkley. And I know we had that scare, man, in the third quarter where Saquon Barkley goes down with the shoulder injury. We kind of looking at it like, oh, here we go again, man. And an entertainer, when I went on his stream the day before the game, he was talking about Saquon Barkley and if we should pay Saquon Barkley. One of his supporters asked a question in that chat. An entertainer was like, pretty much, he's ready to pay Saquon Barkley. He wants it to be a 3-year deal, 4-year deal maximum, so you could get out of it in case, things go wrong. But the one thing that he was saying was health. He was just like, I got to see him finish this season healthy, and, then I can go into next season into 2023 and thinking, okay, we can give Saquon the bag and whatnot, no problem. And I almost thought when Saquon Barkley went down with that shoulder injury, the entertainer might have jinxed it, because I haven't been talking too much about Saquon being injured, because he's running like, he's pretty much possessed this year. He's running as if he's a better running back than he was in 2018. And with time, for the most part, until you start to get on that cliff, you should be getting better. Your rookie year should not be your best season in the NFL. And I'm not just talking about statistically. I'm talking about just the way you run and the way that you're learning the game and you're learning the speed of the NFL. Things should get easier for you as the year goes along. And in the press conference, Saquon Barkley said something about that. He said he has confidence in his team that they can beat anybody right now, that's great coming from one of your, top tier leaders. He also said that on the football field, he just feels like there's nothing he can't do. And that's fantastic to hear from Saquon, man. We're seeing a guy, man, who's lowering his shoulder, finishing runs, the bruiser-style running back that people wanted, the less tiptoeing, as they called it last year. They're getting that. But you're also getting all the things we were accustomed to seeing from Saquon Barkley in 2018. I talk about the tough games. Those games where you get 146 yards, those are the games where it's like things are just clicking for you. You're getting all the yards. Everything's flying for you. But I like to talk about them tough games. These kind of games where you get 70 rushing yards, but you're effective throughout the whole game. Let's not forget about the big pass play late in this game. The big run where, the cut that Saquon Barkley put on that run, if you look at it, the way he anticipates that cut coming off a jump cut, is just, there's not many running backs that are going to be able to do that and go out there and go and get, a 20-plus yard gain on a play like that looks like it could have got busted up. And great blocking up front. If you look at the specific run that I'm talking about, Matt Breida is leading him on the block, almost as if he's a fullback. So, man, I just think that this coaching staff's doing a great job of utilizing our players and getting them in the best position. I also think a lot of it has to do with instilling confidence in these players. You can see the coach-player relationships that are happening now, that are being developed, that weren't happening with the last regime and the previous regime before that. Joe Judge kind of came into the New York Giants situation trying to be a disciplinary, almost like a father figure in a way, whereas Brian Dable is showing him that he's looking at these guys equal, eye to eye, as if they're a brother. Wink Martindale, the same thing. I just love that clip of Wink Martindale turning up, like throwing up the peace signs in the camera, like getting all trapped out. I love that. I want to see those things. You would never see Joe Judge doing that. The only thing we saw Joe Judge do that seemed pretty player-friendly was he was diving in puddles of mud and whatnot the first couple of weeks of practice. But, Joe Judge and them are neither here nor there. I think Brian Dable's doing a fantastic job with Saquon Barkley. You don't got to get those 100-yard games, 20 carries every game. 13 carries in this game for 70 yards. He's averaging 5.4 yards per carry. The 3 receptions for 36 yards. I will take that all day from Saquon Barkley. And in return, it opened up things for Daniel Jones, man, and I just think, they're just putting Saquon Barkley in the right positions. You saw a little bit of wildcat in this game. You saw it all, man. And the Giants as a team rushed for 125 yards. With Daniel Jones' legs, we're able to use Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley as a dual-headed kind of running attack. Now, I talked about how, some teams like to go with the 2 running back style, like the Cleveland Browns or the Dallas Cowboys. You got Tony Pollard, you got Ezekiel Elliott, and you kind of, see who's got the hot hand. With the New York Giants, we're doing it with Saquon Barkley as a star running back when a lot of people wrote him off. And then you got Daniel Jones that's kind of being that cherry on top, to be able to support the running game. And in return, it's been effective, man. And I got to agree with David on this, man. 4-1 is insane. It's insane. I never could have predicted this. To even be at 2-3 at this point would have been a surprise for me, and I would have been okay with that. But to have the Giants sitting at 4-1 entering week 6, man, as fans, we cannot ask for more, man. We let that Dallas game kind of slip through the cracks a little bit. Could you imagine if we win that game? We're going to get to some of these Giant overreactions, man, but definitely going to be talking about the coaching. And, it's just that record is just is out of this world, man. I'm floored, and it makes me wake up. It makes creating content that much easier to come in here and talking to y'all about this, talking about wins instead of talking about L's, man. It just feels fantastic on a Monday. I'm gonna be smiling from like ear to ear the whole episode, man. So salute to the nation, man. Y'all know what it is, man. We've been definitely just like grinding out these wins, man. And some of them have been ugly. And this one, I wouldn't really call this an ugly win. Like, it was an ugly first quarter. And then the Giants just start turning up, and it went uphill for the rest of that game. And to have our defense out there, you know, again, this is another week, even against the Dallas Cowboys. We get down there, defense has to make a stop at the end of that game to give Daniel Jones another opportunity. And that's what they did. And the defense has been continuously showing up. And I love how Wink Martindale is sending blitzes late in games. You know, Wink is not just every play sending the blitz and just like, you know, hoping just that we get to the quarterback. He's doing this in a methodical way. It's very balanced. And I think Wink Martindale is learning just as much from these players and dealing with, you know, limited personnel as the players are learning from Wink Martindale. It's one hand wash the other over there in New York Giants football, man. And I'm definitely enjoying it, man. And we're going to talk about one more player on the offense who I had to actually had a graphics department. Shout out to the graphics department. Y'all know who the graphics department is. That's me in the beard one time. But shout out to the graphics department. I had to have them draft up this little clip because we didn't have this guy on here because he pretty much wasn't active all year. But big bouquet of flowers to this man right here. Y'all know what it is, man. All right, let's talk about the man of the hour, man. Darius Slayton, back from the dead one time, man. Big shout out to this man for showing up and showing out. A lot of Giants fans who have been here since the beginning of Darius Slayton's tenure in 2019 know that this is a very, very capable player, okay? Now, a lot of people wrote this man off. Coming into the season, people were saying trade him, cut him, all kinds of madness. I think that this coaching staff was just trying to figure out a way to be able to use Darius Slayton. All us fans knew that if we were going to take the top off of a defense, you got to do it with Darius Slayton. We saw them kind of dibble and dabble with it just a little bit in the last two games previous to this one, but it didn't really quite work out for Darius Slayton. He had the pass interference last week where he did drop the ball, having to come back on a ball that was a little bit short to him. But Darius Slayton showed up and out in this game, man. He was Daniel Jones' #1 target on the day. 6 receptions, 79 yards on 7 targets, no drops, 13.2 yards per reception. He had the long of 26 yards. Now, Darius Slayton came into this game with just 1 catch on the damn season. That is disrespectful. But Darius Slayton came out here, kept his head up, worked hard. We know that this coaching staff, they want players to show and prove that they deserve to be out there getting snaps. Darius Slayton has been doing that, and in return, the coaching staff rewarded him. Very limited wide receiver core in this game with just the 4 of them out there. Marcus Johnson, who I had relatively not heard about going into this game, he had a pretty decent game too. Marcus Johnson had 3 receptions for 35 yards, averaging 11.7 per reception, and he had 3 targets. He caught every one of his targets. Saquon Barkley also added to the passing game as well with the 3 for 36. Daniel Bellinger caught 2 of his 3 targets. Richie James caught 2 of his 2 targets. So for me, there's efficiency happening in the passing game, and that's why Daniel Jones' numbers don't look crazy. But the efficiency is definitely there. And I'm going to pull back Daniel Jones' numbers up real quick. You could look at those and go, oh, those are pretty pedestrian, right? But look at that QBR, 75.2. Very efficient out of 100 score. I mean, Daniel Jones, this is why. We're not getting those drop passes that a lot of people were talking about last week. People talking about this a practice squad wide receiver core. To me, if you are in the NFL, go out there and make the plays, bro. And that's what Darius Slayton did in this game. Now, talked about it, came into this game with 1 catch. Darius Slayton, though, in his career, he has more receptions than all the other 3 wide receivers that started in this game combined. Darius Slayton had 128 receptions in his career coming into this game. Darius Slayton is very capable. He led the New York Giants in receiving the first 2 years that he was there, and he led them in receiving touchdowns every year he's been here as well. The Giants finished the day 6 of 11 on 3rd down, and a lot of that had to do with the way that this passing attack was moving. Got to talk about the running game, too. Saquon Barkley, Matt Breida, they were doing their job, and we won the battle of time of possession. 32 minutes to 27 minutes. You cannot ask for more. And this is the number that stood out to me. The Giants were 3 of 4 in the red zone. Daniel Jones is the quarterback for the New York Giants. The entire time he has been here, has struggled in the red zone. It's fantastic to see the Giants go out here and be 3 for 4 in the red zone in a game against the Packers, who came into this game with a pretty decent defense, okay? Now, we knew that they were susceptible to the run, but as far as pass defense goes, the Packers were coming in this game pretty decent. So for me to lead this game 3 or 4 in the red zone, I can't ask for more, okay? You want 4 for 4? I don't know what to tell you. 3 or 4 was great for us, especially with who we go out there with this wide receiver core. So big shout out, big major bouquet of flowers for my guy, Darius Slayton, one time, man. And let's put the numbers up one more time for the kid, man. 6 receptions, 79 yards on 7 targets. We need more of this from Darius Slayton, and I hope the coaching staff is on guard now, knowing that Darius Slayton can be a playmaker. And he did a lot of this in the intermediate routes. Teams that we play moving forward are going to try to stop those. And I think in return, you'll be able to use some double moves with Darius Slayton, get him back running those 9 routes, those fade routes, you know, those deep down the field kind of routes, the deep posts. And maybe this New York Giants offense is on the up and up, and we're starting to get somewhere here with this passing attack. To me, this was the first game where the pass attack, and it wasn't for the entirety of the game, but it was for the majority of the second half. The pass attack looked really good. It was probably our best game throwing the ball. So big shout out to Mike Kafka, big shout out to Daniel Jones, and a major shout out to Darius Slayton, man. I know Kyle Pizzle has been, you know, very high on Darius Slayton, talking about he deserves a chance. He was definitely right on that. So shout out to Pizzle one time for, you know, having that faith in him, man. You got to have your faith in these players. Now, I've been putting this out there on my Twitter a lot this week, man. Don't be out here doubting nobody but yourself, man. Don't doubt what somebody else can do. Place them expectations on yourself, okay? We, as Giants fans, we have to instill faith and confidence in these players and put them on a pedestal. I'm not saying don't be critical, because y'all know I'm going to always have a little asterisk or something here to be able to be critical and be able to talk about where we can get better, obviously. But, yo, definitely be able to put these players on a pedestal, man, and don't place no doubt on people. Like, don't be writing these people off. Don't be saying these players are garbage, they trash, this dude is awful and all that. We don't even got to go there. They are in the NFL for a reason. Let's keep it funky, all right? Y'all know what it is. All right, so we got the offense out the way, man. This was a big win, man. A lot of clips going viral on Twitter. I'm enjoying it, man. I was scrolling Twitter the whole damn night, man, just looking for new videos, new content, you know, and it's a fantastic W for us, man, to go in there against the Packers and come out with a victory, 27-22, man. And, you know, to limit Aaron Rodgers, you know, on the day to 222 passing yards, you know, this is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, and a total QBR of 53.2. We got to the quarterback 2 times in this game, but the pressure was there. Aaron Rodgers was forced to get rid of the ball very quickly. He was doing his best impersonation of Cooper Rush, man, them 3-step drops. They were killing us in the first half with that little short out route from the slot and the fly routes from the X wide receiver position. And I know Wink was like, man, you know, we're going to have to do something, but he didn't want to open up the middle of the field. We saw Romeo Doubs catch one post route across the middle, got a big chunk. I think that Wink Martindale did a good job of just playing that bend, don't break, you know. Sometimes you got to allow an offense to be able to go out there and get something while limiting the other things that are more important. And I think Wink Martindale had a list of priorities with his defense, and it seemed like limiting the big play was number one. Stopping the run was definitely a major part of this. I mean, we held Aaron Jones to 63 yards and A.J. Dillon to 34 yards, and I can't leave this show without talking about the defense. The way that we went out there with the aggression and the way we were hitting, I mean, my God, Julian Love was out there, and that's why a lot of these players were getting banged up during this game, too. I mean, it was a very physical game out there in London. Julian Love led us with 7 tackles, 6 solo tackles. Adoree Jackson, Jalen Smith, and Dexter Lawrence all had 6 tackles. And after allowing that 20 points in the first half, the Giants shut the Packers out for the next 30 minutes. So you got to give them their props on that. And a week after having a season-high 6 sacks, the Giants didn't get to Rodgers until late in the third quarter, but when they did, Dexter Lawrence forced Green Bay out of field goal range on a key stop on a 3rd and 8. To me, that was the big momentum changer in this game, because the whole goal here was to limit the amount of points that the Green Bay Packers put up on the board in the second half, because letting them get out to that 17-3 lead really put us in a hole. So to see the defense go out there, man, and 2 weeks in a row now, Dexter Lawrence going out there and getting to the quarterback. Last week, he had 2 sacks on Justin Fields and made a big play in that game, and he makes a huge play in the third quarter in this game to really spark things off for this defense. So shout out to Dexter Lawrence, man. It's always good to see Dexter Lawrence out there doing that Dexter dance after he gets a couple of sacks on the quarterback, man. You know the Giants defense is excelling when you see Dexter Lawrence doing that dance. So big shout out to him. Kayvon Thibodeau, man, you know, on the stat box, it don't show up like he had a great game, but he had 3 key tackles in this game. And then the third down pass deflection that he had right before the game sealing pass deflection from Xavier McKinney, man. So Kayvon Thibodeau, he's getting better and better every week. We know he's coming off the knee injury, man. So like, got to give him his time to get right. And I think Kayvon Thibodeau is going to be a player to, you know, he's going to be somebody to be reckoned with here in a couple of weeks, man. And I think that first-round draft status, we're not going to be looking at that with any type of regret come the end of the year. Kayvon Thibodeau, man, getting his hat in there, man. It was a shoestring tackle on the line, man, where he just, like, squeezed by the defender and made the tackle. And I'm just looking at him like, man, very, very gutsy for him out there, man, doing his thing. So big shout-out to Kayvon. And, you know, just the rest of this defense, man, Jihad Ward, man, and who else am I leaving off here? There was somebody else who had a big game I wanted to bring some attention to as well. Can't remember, but, man, shout out to that whole defense, man. They balled out. Adoree Jackson ended up getting hurt in this game. Hopefully he'll be all right entering next week. They're saying it's a knee and a neck injury, so hopefully he can get right because we're super thin at the cornerback position. It's surprising. You know, it's like when you get a win like this, we almost forget about all the injuries coming into this game, man. You know, Leonard Williams knocked out. We're definitely going to have to get him back on the field for sure, man. And Davidson got knocked out in this game. Adoree Jackson dealt with that injury. Julian Love was dealing with an injury. You had Saquon Barkley with the shoulder. He says he's doing okay. Jalen Smith, man, I can't say enough about Jalen Smith. He's going out there, man, and just playing ferocious all over the field. You know, I talked about how he's reminding me of that vibe that Randy Gregory brought to the Cowboys, you know, with that just tenacity, just after the ball, man, and on all plays, he's just playing high-energy football. So I got to give him his props as well, man. And his defense, they just showed up, man, and showed out in this game, man. I'm proud of this team. This team went out there and just balled out. I'm extremely proud of this team. Like, you see a lot of players out there with, you know, they don't have the biggest name or the biggest notoriety, and they're going out there and they're just continuously making plays, man. I'm just can't say enough about them, man. And, you know, in the secondary being as thin as we are, and just being able to make plays. I'm looking forward to seeing Landon Collins get out here and you know, aid the secondary and the linebacker core as well. It's going to be fun to see 21 back out there, man. I hope he gets the same number, too. But big shout-out to that defense. Big shout-out to Wink Martindale, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Giant overreaction over here. We're going to get into these overreactions here shortly. And I believe I got 4 of them. For those of y'all that don't know, when you see the statement on the screen, if you think it's an overreaction, put an O in the chat. If you don't think it's an overreaction, put a U in the chat, which means you're going to be taking the under. And if you need to, you know, a little more time on it, you're going to take a push, put a P in the chat, or put a hand emoji in the chat. And let's get into these, man. I got some interesting ones. You know, a lot of them going to be quarterback driven over here on Awthentik and the Beard, man. I like to talk about the quarterback a lot. And we're going to talk about the future of this franchise a little bit as well. And yeah, I got a couple. So hang tight. We're going to get into these. All right, and yeah, StreamYard giving me hell over here. Didn't put a couple of my graphics up here, so hang tight with me. Let's bring in a little tunes here while we get these uploaded here one time. These are, my hard drive is crazy. I got client work on here. I got football stuff on here, man. I got about like 4 terabytes of just madness over here on my studio hard drive and whatnot. But we're gonna get these overreactions uploaded. Looks like StreamYard gave me a little bit of a hiccup there one time. But it should take no time to get these up. Let's see. So we got these. We got 4 today we're going to be going over. And I'm going to start with one that has to do with the quarterback one time, and then we'll go off into some of the other players. And, I got 5 of them because I wanted to bring up one from last week. We'll get to that one in a little bit. I want to bring up one for last week and see how y'all feeling about this one. But let's start with the quarterback one time. This one comes from, and I'm calling people out. I told y'all, if you're not giving no flowers out today, I'm calling people out today. So Twitter names is on here and all. I told you, the top button is button because we on the Debo vibes today. Y'all know what it is, all right? So this one comes from 27 on Twitter. Shout out to Will one time. I know a lot of Giants fans don't rock with Will because Will was the one who was calling Saquon Barkley a mascot for a good portion of his career. He says, I will have respect for Daniel Jones for the rest of my life, but I still don't want him to be the Giants quarterback next year. Giants fans, how do y'all feel about this one in the chat? Let me know if you're taking a O, if you think this is an overreaction and you do think Daniel Jones could be back next year, or you want him back next year. And if you agree with the statement on the screen, let me see that U one time. It means you're going to be taking the under one time. And while y'all think about that, we're going to get to this super chat one time. Shout out to the homie one time. 84 is in the building with the $5 super chat one time, man. I was rocking with y'all over there on William Steele's channel in the morning. I be trying to get up and get into that stream, man, but like I usually wake up like just before 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's right around the time that William Steele likes to go live on his channel and whatnot, so I'm always late. I showed up like probably for the last 20 minutes today, but they all showed a lot of love, man. They were talking about the NFC East being on the rise right now, man. We have a very friendly rivalry with that whole Cowboys, chat vibe over there, and with me bringing my Giants vibes over there. Everybody is extremely friendly over there on their chat, man. I got a lot of love for everybody over there, and 84 is one of them. He says, salute to them boys, the G-men, and those birds for making this division look like something. I know that's right. Somebody check on the beard, though. He good. He said, when we was in the chat on William Steele's, he was telling me like the beard might shave the beard out of frustration, man, and it would just be authentic and insert government name here. That had me crying. But shout out to 84 one time in the building, man, for that $4.99 super chat, man. I appreciate that, man. Big salute to you. A new subscriber this year who's been rocking with us, man. Dallas Cowboys fan, man. So big salute to you, bro. So let me see how y'all feeling about this one over here. That comes from 27. It says, I will have respect for Daniel Jones for the rest of my life. I still don't want him to be the Giants quarterback next year. So let me see how everybody feeling about this. Jukes, we did it. You damn right we did it, Jukes. I called it too. We did it. We definitely did it, man. So we got a, let me see. We got a push from Word. When Word couldn't make up his mind there for a second, I saw him. He was kind of started with the O, started with the U, went back to the push one time. So Word's taking the push on this one, needs to see a little bit more. Stan, I know where you stand on this already, Stan. No pun intended. Stan is taking the under. He agrees with the comment on the screen one time. Yankees Nation says this is an overreaction. Shout out to A. Williams 7146 in the building. That's a new face. Hats off to Daniel Jones. Real tough guy. That's facts one time. Marjorie says this is an overreaction. James Jones in the building. What up, James? James says this is an overreaction indeed. Jake is taking the under one time. Shout out to Kid Blue in the building, man. Make sure y'all go show some love and support to Kid Blue, man. He's been rocking the Giants content since before I got on here. I used to think, hey, yo, Kid Blue, I used to think that you were like, when I first got into the Giants community, like not even creating content, just like following content, it was Entertainer, it was Ron Effect, and it was Kid Blue for me. And I used to think, because his name was Kid Blue, I used to think Kid Blue was like a kid. I thought Kid Blue was probably like 14 or maybe like 13 at the time. And couldn't find out Kid Blue's like well off in his 20s now and whatnot. Still a youngin' on the Young Guns. Make sure y'all go show their podcast some love, man. And go subscribe to Kid Blue, man. He's been creating content now for, I want to say about 5-6 years, man. Definitely one of the key components to the Giants content creation community. So salute to you. And I got one of yours as an overreaction. We're going to bring that one up next, so make sure you hang tight. But he's taking the under on this one. Sebastian says this is an overreaction indeed. A. Williams says this is an overreaction as well. Word said he was taking the push. Ronald Patterson in the building. Shout out to Ronald Patterson in the building. He says this is an overreaction. Got a bunch of O's. Close O says Big Dash, but he's taking the push. Yankees Nation's got the overreaction. Allison in the building one time. Salute to you, Allison. Welcome to the Giant Overreaction hosted by your boy, Awthentik. We appreciate you pulling up and showing out. New face in the building. Make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're digging the vibes over here. Chat, show some love to Allison. Y'all know what it is. Minty Sports is taking the under. Does agree with the statement on the screen. Bookend says it's an overreaction. Patrick says he's taking the under on this one. He agrees with the statement on the screen. And Brian Howard in the building. Shout out to Brian one time. I'll be chopping up with Brian on Twitter a lot. He says the ultimate overreaction. And Jukes also says overreaction. And don't forget, y'all can say why y'all think it's an overreaction or why you're taking the under. Jukes says, I believe when the light is switched, Jones switched the light yesterday. Addicted to winning. He's addicted to winning. I can see it. I like that he's addicted to winning. And if he is addicted to winning, he's been on a drought right now. He's probably been in rehab for a little bit. But now this season, he's getting back into that winning column, man. Daniel Jones improving that record, even though a lot of people like to say that the wins losses don't really equate to a quarterback statistic. I like to think it can. It can. You know, I like to use it both ways. But shout out to Jukes taking the overreaction one time. All right. So let me see. Brian's got the overreaction. All right, Brian, I know where you stand on this. You already know what it is. Shout out to Brian one time in the building. And what else? NY Chris is in the building taking the push. I like that. Taking the push is smart on this. Give you a little bit more time because I think it's easy to ride high, you know, after a victory where Daniel Jones plays well. But you got to take the whole equation, you know, into consideration and come to a conclusion on it. I think, you know what I'm going to do? I think that this is an overreaction, okay? Because to say that you still don't want him to be the Giants quarterback next year, well, what are your options? Because I'm going to tell you like this, don't bring in no rookie and put him out there and throw him to the wolves, especially the way that the New York Giants have been winning games. If the New York Giants continue on this trajectory throughout the rest of the season and we can finish the year, let's just say with 9 wins maybe, and Daniel Jones is continuously playing, you know, a mistake-free football and being a reason why the New York Giants win games, well, I'm all for bringing Daniel Jones back. I'm not saying don't draft a quarterback, but bring Daniel Jones back, draft a quarterback if you want to, and, you know, pull a Patrick Mahomes here. Try to get your guy, and if Daniel Jones is showing that he can win games, why would you just pull his feet out from underneath him and then get right back to trying to throw a rookie quarterback out there? We've seen a ton of rookie quarterbacks struggle in this league. Even Joe Burrow, who just took his team to the Super Bowl last season, you go back to that rookie season before he blew out his knee. He was struggling. A lot of rookie quarterbacks have shown that, yeah, they come into this league, and even when they have weapons around them, look at Justin Herbert. I forget who it was that was calling their game on Sunday. They said the Chargers are chargering because although Justin Herbert has been lighting up the stat box, the Chargers still have not gotten a playoff berth yet with Justin Herbert at the quarterback position. They seem that they're underperforming, if you ask me. They don't got the kind of question marks that the New York Giants had last year and the year before that. The Chargers have continuously had Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler, and hella talent out there. I mean, they had Cooks at the tight end position last year, who he was a red zone maniac as well. Defensively, they got some pieces out there. The New York Giants roster does not look like the Chargers roster, but yet and still, a lot of people are still giving Justin Herbert that pass, I'll call it. But he's still playing good ball. But we know rookie quarterbacks can come in and struggle. So for me, I'm not all for just like taking Daniel Jones' legs out from underneath him. What if he starts to get even better? That's what I think a lot of people are not considering. Everyone will consider that, yes, Daniel Jones has not been dealt the greatest hand. We know that, right? But with that said, people will go, oh, he hasn't been playing great football dating back to last season. But you got to factor that in when he starts to play well, that, okay, yeah, he's dealing with a ton of injuries at wide receiver. Forget the injuries. The talent at wide receiver is just not even there. Kenny Golladay has been a bust since coming over to the New York Giants, and we have not been able to find a way to get him clicking and get the chemistry that is necessary for Daniel Jones to have a true number one wide receiver out there. And we're going to get to that on another overreaction when we start to talk about the wide receiver core. But I think Daniel Jones is doing a fantastic job with the cards that he has dealt. And now you get a coach in there who can find ways to scheme it up and be able to adjust mid-game, and it's showing. Daniel Jones is playing great football right now. Me and the Beard always talk about, is Daniel Jones playing winning football dating back to about 2 seasons ago? He's playing winning football right now. You look at those statistics that he put up against the Green Bay Packers, that's winning football. You even go look at the statistics that he put up against the Dallas Cowboys, that's winning football. The 71 yards against the Chicago Bears, and then the 68 yards on the ground, that's winning football. Why? Because he's not turning the ball over. He's not making those devastating plays that are causing his team to get behind on the scoreboard. If anything, Daniel Jones is one of the main reasons why we're winning games. So I got to give Daniel Jones that big bouquet of flowers on a Monday afternoon today. Y'all know what it is, man. Daniel Jones, I do have respect for him. And I think that that's like to start this tweet with that, like, you know, I have respect for him. It's just a way to kind of say, like, I recognize he played well. But at the same time, you wake up on a Monday morning and this is what you got to say about the kid. I don't want him here next year. We're not thinking about that. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm not even thinking about next year. But if I got to think about next year when we talk about overreactions and whatnot, and I had to choose today, I want Daniel Jones as the quarterback for next year. And y'all know, I've been the most critical. Outside of probably Tim from Online Big Blue, I've been the most critical person on Giants YouTube about Daniel Jones because last year he was not playing fantastic football. He was playing average football. I'm not going to ever call the dude garbage or call him, you know, trash or anything like that. I've always stuck to my guns on it. I've said that Daniel Jones is an average quarterback. But you keep playing games like this, he's going to be an above-average quarterback. And then if he can find a way to make that ceiling even higher from an above-average quarterback, who knows? Maybe Daniel Jones could be a top 15 quarterback in this league. I mean, we know that every quarterback needs a wide receiver one. The only person that I think that has been able to kind of dodge that is Lamar Jackson. Outside of that, every quarterback that excels in this league has had a number one. Look at the other side of the ball with the Packers. Right now, you take away their number one threat in Devontae Adams, they looking like they could really, really use a Devontae Adams over there right now. They are struggling with two young wide receivers over there and a old veteran who's aging in Randall Cobb. And it shows. If you look at the way that the Packers attacked the New York Giants in this game, they rarely stretched it down the field. And when they did, it looked like they were kind of reaching on fade routes that really weren't open. Aaron Rodgers seeing some one-on-one matchups and just trying to hope for maybe his guy can win the matchup. But he does not have those kind of wide receivers to be able to do that right now, and it's showing. So imagine if Daniel Jones could go out here and get himself involved with a number one wide receiver and what that could do for the passing attack. And then this offensive line improving the way that they are. You know, we saw Evan Neal have a good game. Pass protection held up. Andrew Thomas is a wall on the left side. If we can get things going, I love what I'm seeing out of Feliciano out of the center position. A lot of people were kind of ragging on him. They see one play, two bad plays, and want to say, oh, he sucks. No, Feliciano is holding it down right now, and he's just been moved from guard to center this year. He's doing his thing as a leader on this offensive line, and he's putting the rest of those guys in position. So for me, I can't wake up and say I don't want Daniel Jones to be the quarterback next year. You heard it here first. I definitely want Daniel Jones to be the quarterback next year. If he's going to be playing the way he is playing right now, the first 5 games of 2022, he's not turning the ball over. He's not making big mistakes. He's not taking those key sacks that he used to take last year when, you know, you get into a position where Daniel Jones might, you know, roll out of the pocket, hold on to the ball too long and take a sack, or, you know, trying to throw it away late, throw an interception. He is improving. No one can say that Daniel Jones is not improving. Wake up on a Monday morning after the Giants just beat the Packers 27-22 and say that Daniel Jones he shouldn't be the quarterback next year. So I 1,000% disagree with this one, and I do think that this one is indeed an overreaction for sure. All right, I'm going to get to a couple of super chats. I definitely appreciate that. The chat is booming. Shout out to 130 in the building right now. That's records over here at Awthentik and the Beard, man. We appreciate the whole entire Giants nation. And if you're not rocking with the Giants on a Monday morning after a victory over the Green Bay Packers,
Spike don't care.
You definitely know what it is. Big shout out to the homie Head Sharp in the building one time. Haven't seen Head Sharp in the chat, but we definitely appreciate that $4.99 super chat, man, and your presence pulling up today. He says, love your channel. We all need to get more people over to these guys. Hashtag quality. That means a lot, man, because, you know, my day job is I'm a producer and an audio engineer. I mix a lot of records during the day, and that's why people come to me for mixing. You know, I've got some big names under my belt. And the reason why is literally because of quality. That's what I like to present. I like to give people quality mixes. And when it comes to content on YouTube, we're trying to do the exact same thing, trying to bring the highest quality we possibly can. And I think we're doing a pretty good job of it. Shout out to the graphics department one time. Y'all know what it is over here at Awthentik and the Beard, man. And big shout out to you, Head Sharp. I definitely appreciate you pulling up, man. That super chat goes a long way, brother. And shout out to Zeke Anderson one time in the building. He says, 10 wins minimum, playoff berth, book it. I like those vibes, man. And on this Monday morning, I'm rocking with you, Zeke. I like that. 10 wins minimum. Right now, we're sitting at 4-1. Surprisingly, we got some winnable games here, man, coming down the stretch. This Ravens game that's coming up next is going to be an extremely tough one. But after that, we do lighten up a little bit. We got some games against the Seahawks, the Jaguars, the Texans, a couple other games that we can win, man. I like that, you know, that I won't even call it optimism. I like that realism right there, man. 10 wins minimum. Shout out to Zeke one time for the $2 super chat, man, and the support towards the channel definitely means a lot, brother. Just reading what KB got here. KB says, I made the name when I was 16 or 17. Never felt I should change it. Yeah, man, you the kid. You the kid for the Giants community, man. Salute to you and the content you've been bringing thus forward, man. Definitely always been a fan of Kid Blue, man. Always holding it down one time. And not scared to have a different opinion. That's why I like Kid Blue. He's not one of the people that's just like I feel like a lot of content creators just like they just tell you what you want to hear. And maybe that's why, you know, over here at Awthentik and the Beard, the sub count isn't as high as it should be, as a lot of people like to say, is because I'm not going to be optimistic. I'm not going to be pessimistic. I'm going to keep it realistic all day. I'm going to keep it authentic. Y'all know what it is, man. And shout out to Kid Blue for the $5 super chat too, man, in the building. He says, I didn't know you can push. I've been moving to P. You've been moving that P. I like the pun that you put right there. Great show, bro. Sorry for bamboozling y'all yesterday on Twitter. Nah, that's all good, Kid Blue. Shout out to the gang, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Go sub up to Kid Blue, man. Him and the Hub doing a fantastic job with their content over there, man. And I think, as far as quality and graphics and bringing the visuals and all that, they're doing a great job over there as well, man. So big shout out to Kid Blue, man. Make sure y'all go sub up on time. I'm just scrolling the chat. We hanging out today. I ain't got nothing on the books. We hanging out today. So no shot clock for the Giant Overreaction for week 5 today, man. So we hanging. I'm just scrolling through the chat, making sure I didn't miss nothing here. Shout out to everybody that's saying, hit that like button too, man. We appreciate y'all. I got to run through. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to run through this episode when we're done. And we got to get some new mods in here too. We need some more mods as well. And I'm going to make a couple of people some new mods. Shout out to Anthony one time in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up, man. Anthony always holding us down on Facebook. Always holding us down with the sharing and the liking. Telling people, encouraging people to subscribe to this channel, man. Shout out to the graphics department. You know what it is, man. Shout out to the graphics department. Bluegrass in the building, man. Salute to you, brother, man. Big win this week, man. I know everybody feeling great. The vibes is on 1,000, man. My man Pat said Apex later. You already know we're going to be on some Apex later. Yes, sir. Shout out Lake Nona in the building one time, man. What's going on, Lake Nona? Hope all is well with you, man. I know all is well with you, man. What a win yesterday, man. That felt great. And to wake up early, I love when you you got those vibes when you're going to sleep and you could barely sleep the night before a game. Like I like to say, the first day of school vibes, laying out the Eli Manning jersey, got the outfit all ready and whatnot. And then you get to wake up early, right? And not only wake up early, but end that early game with a victory. And then you get to watch the rest of the day, man. Red zone, primetime games. Sunday night was a great game between the Bengals and the Ravens. Shout out to Stan, who was at that game. It just makes it, for just a more enjoyable Sunday when you get an early win like that, bright and early, 9:30 a.m., man. So I'm feeling great, man. I'm feeling great today on a Monday. No one's going to take me off this high today, man. I see a couple jokers on Twitter, man, trying to start some beefs. I'm trying to tell people and trying to encourage people, man, love thy neighbor today, man. Your Giants neighbor, show them some love today, man. You know what I'm saying? And spread them good vibes, man, so that we can go into next week with the same exact vibe and try to get a W again next week against the Ravens. I see David asking about Apex. I just got a PS5, but I'd be down to play. I played on PC, but if y'all need a third, I'm game. Yeah, man, yo. Anybody want to follow me on Xbox? It's just Awthentik Music. Pull up, man. I'm on Apex all the time, man. That's one of my favorite games. I used to play 2K a lot. I haven't gotten around to getting the new 2K yet, but I think I'm gonna get that 2K. But yeah, Dave, pull up, man. Awthentik Music on Xbox, man. Add me as a friend. And it's cross-platform with the with PS5 as well. So yeah, pull up, man. Let's rock some games, man. I'm gonna definitely be on after this around like 4 o'clock or something like that. And real people's in the buildings. Yes, good vibes. Y'all know what it is, man. Giants Nation. Yes, sir. All right. So we got about 3 or 4 more. Let's get to this. Let's get to this one from last week that we talked about a little bit. And let me just clear the screen a little bit here one time. And this one came from Dan Orlovsky. Who he's been a big supporter of Daniel Jones. He had some good things to say about Daniel Jones this morning. But last week he was talking about Daniel Jones, and I'll just let you hear the clip for those of y'all that missed it. And for those of y'all that were here last week, I'm sure you remember the Dan Orlovsky clip that we went over. So let's give this a listen, see how y'all feeling on this. If you think it's an overreaction, give me an O in the chat. You want to take the push, you need a little bit longer, let me see the P in the chat, see you pushing some P. And if you agree with the statement, let me see a U in the chat for you're taking the under on this one.
Coming into the season, the Giants had 3 questions. Did we find our head coach? That answer is unequivocally, absolutely yes.
Absolutely.
Is Saquon Barkley going to be anything in this league? It certainly seems that way. And is Daniel Jones part of our future? No. And that was the answer before this season.
Yeah.
And a month into the season, the answer is still no.
All right, now, shout out to Kid Blue one time because this was his overreaction on Twitter. And he said that he was kind of, it was lighthearted. He was kind of joking as he said it because after the Saints game last year with Daniel Jones, he said the exact same thing. So he kind of wanted to run it back. Now, Dan Orlovsky talked about Saquon Barkley. He talked about the coaching, but he didn't agree with Daniel Jones being the franchise quarterback. Now, what I'm going to say is I'm leaving y'all some room open here for the push on this one. But if you want to take the U, you could take the U as well and take the under, and disagree with the statement. But do you think that this might be an overreaction? I'm sensing today that a lot of people are leaning more towards that if Daniel Jones can play this kind of football with a first-year head coach and a first-year play caller, that things could only get better. And there is that possible chance that Daniel Jones might be the franchise quarterback. Let me know what y'all think in the chat one time. We'll give a little bit of background vibes for a few minutes, let y'all get y'all wits together and whatnot. And let me know if y'all think that this is an overreaction. I'm convinced Daniel Jones is the New York Giants franchise quarterback. And I know that Dan Orlovsky was talking, more like Daniel Jones isn't the quarterback. But let's react to the one that's on the screen right here from my man Kid Blue. Shout out to Kid Blue one time. In the building, too. I'm convinced Daniel Jones is the New York Giants franchise quarterback. Ooh, is this an overreaction or are we taking the under? Are we taking the under? Is Daniel Jones the franchise quarterback? I'm feeling good. Hold on real quick. Hold on. This guy the franchise quarterback? Is this guy the franchise quarterback? Let me know. Is this an overreaction from your boy Kid Blue? We're going to sit here and rock with Daniel Jones one time. Is this our franchise quarterback right here? Look at them eyes. Look into those eyes and tell me. That our franchise quarterback? Is that him? Is that going to be our franchise quarterback? Look into the eyes of that man. Look into those eyes. Shout out to NYG Crush who sent me that Daniel Jones fathead one time way back. Figured I would wait for a good moment to debut that one time. What y'all thinking? Let me see what y'all thinking in that chat one time. Yo, David said, why do you have that? Oh my God, y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me. Y'all are killing me. Oh man, that is crazy. Daniel Jones. Is Daniel Jones the franchise quarterback? Wow, that is hilarious one time. All right, so the verdict is in right now on a chat. Kid Blue said I'm weak. Yo, I'm weak. I broke a sweat off that. God damn. Yes, man, I'm weak myself, man. Daniel Jones, the fathead one time. Shout out to NYG Crush one time for sending that over. That thing showed up on my porch. She was like, I'm gonna send you this Daniel Jones fathead. I was like, bet. I thought it was gonna be him I thought it was gonna be him in the pocket like that or something. She sent me literally the face of Daniel Jones. I can't wait to get to a tailgate and bring that out one time. So this is what we got so far. Edward Squires says he's taking a push. Like last week, let's see at the end of the year and see how it ends up. I like that answer one time. Bell's in the building one time says, overreaction, one more year. Need one more year to figure that out. I'm with you on that too. All right, let me see. Got to show some of the negative stuff too one time. My man Lou Mateo in the building. I want to say that's a new face too. Shout out to Lou one time in the building, man. Appreciate you pulling up. Lou says Dan was a bum QB. DJ showed grit all throughout his tenure. Yes, he's my franchise QB. I like that. Shout out to Dan or my man Mateo one time in the building with the confidence in Daniel Jones being the franchise quarterback. David said, I see death in those eyes. Hey, yo, shout out to David one time, man. Yeah, we having fun, man. We having a ball over here one time on the Giant Overreaction Week 5 edition, man. Y'all know what it is, man. Let me see what else we got. Any more answers on that one? Oh, shout out to Jukes one time in the building, man. I appreciate you, Jukes. You know what it is, man. Appreciate that. $5 super chat one time, man. He says he's taking the franchise QBs get $50 million, and I'm not giving DJ $50 million. He's like the nerd chick that took off glasses and let the hair down, but he's not wifey. Ooh, I like the little bars you just dropped right there. The nerd, that reminds me of a old school movie from the 90s called She's All That. That had Freddie Prinze Jr. in it. I believe it's called She's All That. Is that what it's called? Yeah, I think it's called She's All That. And she was kind of geeky. And then when she came down the steps, when he was taking her to the dance at his high school and whatnot, she was a dime. She was a 10. Shout out to the pun from my man Daniel. But yeah, I like that comparison, man. It is kind of like that. We're getting some unexpected play from the quarterback position. And it's great to see it, man. So shout out to you, Jukes. Appreciate that $5 super chat, man. The support goes definitely a long way one time. I'm just looking at some more answers here one time. Jay Jean, big supporter of the channel. Salute to Jay Jean. Definitely been pulling up on us a lot. Taking the push. We'll wait till the end of the year. I like that answer too. David said, I dated a girl like that. Yeah, those kind of chicks are fire, bro. Like, look like, they going to go to a library and then let the hair down and it's just all flames one time. But I see a lot of people on TikTok doing that too, like those challenges where like you look all nerdy at first and then you look all fine after that and whatnot. But shout out to Daniel Jones, man. I think he's playing some good ball here, man. People seem to be a little bit split on this franchise quarterback thing. Let me take a swig of this real quick. Now, I think KB brings up a good point in the chat, too. He says, no, franchise quarterbacks make around 25 to 35. The elites are making 50. So I wonder if Jukes would reconsider that knowing, 25 to 35. I mean, I would definitely give Daniel Jones 25. You got Carson Wentz is making 28 over there in Washington right now. 0 dead cap hit after next season, which is amazing for Washington if they want to part ways with him. I think that Carson Wentz is getting a little bit of he's kind of being a scapegoat for that offense when in reality I think he's probably one of the only things that's really clicking for them. And a lot of people call him for Heineke, but I think they're jumping the gun on that. But for me on this one, I'm convinced Daniel Jones is the New York Giants franchise quarterback. I'm gonna take the push on this. I want to say that I want to take the under, to be honest, because the more and more I'm starting to be convinced with Daniel Jones, like if he can continue to win games like this, why are we gonna remove that? Why would we take that away? We haven't won games in so long, and for me, it's like if it's not broke, don't fix it. Right now, Daniel Jones is not playing like he's broke. He's playing like it's working, and I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? And right on cue, shout out to homie Roldy one time in the building, man. Giants Nation in the building, man. Hey, Roldy, every time Roldy pulls up, he shows big support to the channel, man. I definitely appreciate the $10 super chat, brother. That goes a real long way. And Roldy is one who, me and Roldy both have been critical, very critical of Daniel Jones, especially in the offseason. I like to use the offseason as the time to be extremely critical, and then I like to use in season to, really support behind my team and just call it like I see it. Like if you're playing bad football during the year, I'm going to say you're playing bad football. If you're playing good football, I'm going to say you're playing good football. And Roldy says, although Jones had one of his best games yesterday, my thoughts on him hasn't changed. He is not the franchise QB. Let's not forget he usually has games like this the last 3 years. Yeah. So Daniel Jones does, you get a flash from him every now and again. And, for me, the one thing that really bothers me about Daniel Jones is like, there's no real highlights to hang your hat on. Like a couple little short runs here, a couple little things here and there. Last year you had to catch and whatnot, but there's never really those big games of like, the 350 yards outside of the Saints game last year where I think he threw for 400 yards and he had a couple touchdowns in that game. But you are missing the consistency, which is a reason why I'm going to take the push on this statement that was on the screen right behind Roldy about Jones being the franchise quarterback, is because it's been all about consistency for Daniel Jones. Even in 2019 when he had what people like to say his best season, he had 6 games where he didn't throw multiple touchdowns back-to-back. 6 games with 1 touchdown or less in a row. Now, he had those outlier games that were ridiculous. The 5-touchdown game against the Washington Commanders. He had 4 touchdowns against the New York Jets. And he had 4 touchdowns against the Detroit Lions, which, those aren't known for defensive teams. But he's still going out there and getting it done. Now, I'm starting to feel a lot more like the last 2 years wasn't on Daniel Jones. I'm not sitting here saying that that's a fact today. But when you see the way that Brian Daboll is finding ways to win and Daniel Jones really doesn't look that much different. Like, I'm just talking about like eye test. He looks like the same guy. You give him time in the pocket, he's going to be able to make those throws. You don't give him time in the pocket, he's going to be running for his life, and he's going to be able to pick up some first downs and do some things with his legs. We knew that last year. Daniel Jones is the kind of quarterback that doesn't do anything exceptionally great. This is why I was telling the homie Stan, I was like, bro, like, we really can't compare him to any other quarterback. He was telling me about some other content creators that were saying, comparing him to other quarterbacks and stuff. And I was like, no, bro, like I don't see it. I don't see the comparison. He brought up that Online Big Blue, I believe it was talking about Christian Ponder. And I'm like, I don't see that. Christian Ponder does not do things with his legs the way that Daniel Jones does things with his legs. Now, you could maybe say the arm talent is similar to some guys like that, which is what people try to do with the Ryan Tannehill comparisons. You know, they go, oh, Daniel Jones is like Ryan Tannehill, because with the arm-wise, that's who he reminds you of. But what Daniel Jones does with his legs, no other quarterback that's in that category is doing those kind of things. Most of those guys that we talk about, like that are like average pocket passers, you know, McCowns and those kind of quarterbacks, you know, Gardner Minshew's even, you know, those guys are better within the pocket than Daniel Jones is when things break down. So, you know, I take away points from Daniel Jones in the pocket, but then once he gets running, he's better than all those guys outside of the pocket. This kid can make plays with his legs. He's continuously showed you that throughout his career. And now that whole turnover machine narrative is going away. So what can we do about that? We can't keep acting like Daniel Jones is like some bum-ass quarterback. I'm going to just keep it funky with y'all, you know, like he's playing good football, right? So I know for Roldy, he's got, you know, Daniel Jones got a lot more to prove. And for myself too, he's got a lot more to prove for sure. I mean, this is just one game. And we got a tough matchup next week. That's what I'm really worried about, is that it's going to be very difficult for Daniel Jones to go out here in back-to-back weeks and put together good games. Now we're coming out of the Week 4 win against the Bears, where Daniel Jones, you know, we're not going to look back at that game in a year and go, oh, man, he balled out. There's no way. 71 yards, 68 rushing. It's just, you're just not making the mistakes in your game managing. But you can win with game managers. And I like to be the team that necessarily isn't just copying what's going around the league. If you look at the way the Rams built that team, there was no other team that was building outside of the draft the way that the Rams did it. So I give them kudos for looking at the league and going, we're not going to copycat in a copycat league. We're going to do things our way, and we're going to show you that we can win our way. That's what they did. Maybe the Giants are doing that right now. Maybe they're showing you that they can win with a game manager. Tell me the last game manager that had legs. Colin Kaepernick, maybe? You know, like Daniel Jones can really, really run the ball, you know? So I got to give him his props. And I think, yeah, if we're going to compare him to somebody, compare him to a Colin Kaepernick, you know, because Daniel Jones doing things with his legs, it don't look as graceful. You know, Colin get out that pocket, start striding, and looking like a real athlete. Daniel Jones get out that pocket, start running, and you're like, how is he not getting tackled? But it's consistent. At least we know he can. That's one of his weapons that he can use week in and week out. But a big shout out to Roldy, man. And Roldy sent me back-to-back ones, too. Shout out to Roldy one time in the building with the $5 super chat. He says, it's not just winning games, but can you see him winning playoff games and eventually a Super Bowl? You know, well, just to speak on it before I answer the question, I'm like, when you're a bum-ass team like we've been, that's going to be the word of the day, right? Like when you're a bum-ass team like the New York Giants have been, right? I'm not thinking about the Super Bowl. I just want to get there, right? Like, we can say things like that about a Dak Prescott, right? Like, he comes out in the regular season, he does his job, he puts up big numbers. You know, Dallas Cowboys were the #1 offense in the league last year. And then when you get to the playoffs, you know, you don't get it done, you can start to say that, because the Dallas Cowboys have been consistent as far as the amount of wins they get, staying at the top of the division and all that. But the Giants have not, right? So we gotta crawl before we walk. We got to get to that point. I would love to see Daniel Jones in a playoff game, because this is the thing that I'm noticing about Daniel Jones, Roldy. When his back is against the wall, he plays great football. It's when the game is in the beginning is when he's having problems. 0-0, or Giants get up 7-0, or Giants got a 7-point lead in the third quarter, and you need a drive to put the team away and put the nail in the coffin. Daniel Jones has struggled to do that. I always talk about those windows over here, and Daniel Jones will get those windows a lot and not dive through them. It's almost like he knows he has another opportunity to get it done, so the urgency is not there. But, man, you get this kid in a playoff game, I don't know what's going to happen, especially with Brian Dable and Mike Kafka out there. And then also, like, we can't overlook the weapons right now. Daniel Jones is winning football games with scraps at the wide receiver position. So, for me, Roldy, I would love to see it. Like, man, if the Giants – this year is just starting to eerily feel like one of them Super Bowl years. It really is. And I'm not saying we're going to make a run, but the doubt was there back in 2007. The doubt was there in 2011. And the doubt is here in 2022. And, like, I just love this, like, Giants against the world kind of mentality. If we could get in the playoffs, man, it'll be the greatest assessment that we will get from Daniel Jones in his entire career. Bottom line. So, for the sake of all of us Giants fans, Roldy, I hope we get it. I really do. I hope we get to the playoffs and get to see Daniel Jones in the playoffs, because I got a good feeling you're going to see a different kind of quarterback out there, man. Like I said, man, when his back's against the wall, that kid steps up. It's almost like he needs to get punched in the face first to win the fight. He ain't the one that's going to start the fight, and just slump you. He ain't going to Draymond Green you or nothing like that. But I do think he's the kind of guy that, when he gets punched, he won't do a Jordan Poole and drop to the ground. He's going to fight back. So I'm looking forward to seeing it, man. I really hope that Daniel Jones can get into the playoffs with this New York Giants team and be healthy. I think that's important. Like, if they could be healthy going into the playoffs, wow. But right now we're at week 6. Daniel Jones gets in the playoffs, you got to bring him back next year, hands down. But shout out to Roldy one time, man, for that super chat. The 2 super chats, bro, that definitely goes a long way. I definitely appreciate that, fam. I saw Marjorie's got to take off. Marjorie, enjoy the rest of your day. Keep bringing those Marge bombs. We appreciate those over here at Awthentik and the Beard. Those mean a lot over here. You definitely be helping us out. We got to get Marjorie on the staff one time. Yeah, I see. I kind of knew this was going to come up. Kid Blue says, nah, DJ is one of the best deep ball passers in the NFL. He has underrated arm talent. I also never seen DJ throw a wobbler. I definitely agree with that. As far as the wobbler part, he throws a tight spiral and all that. I think that those stats from that one year really blur people when they say that best deep passer in the NFL type. I ain't gonna go there. I think Joe Burrow's got a better deep ball. Aaron Rodgers, Tom Brady, Pat Mahomes, Justin Herbert. So if you're going to say one of the best, you can't be outside the top 5, top 10 and be one of the best. So I don't think he's one of the best deep ball throwers. Got a great deep ball, though. I think he can throw it. Definitely can chuck it. But the thing that separates a lot of the great deep ball throwers from Daniel Jones is they can make those great deep throws with the pressure in their face. You look at the one to Darius Slayton on the primetime game Thursday night against Washington last year. That's one that a lot of quarterbacks don't leave out there, and it's right on. And I'm not saying that's his fault. I know a lot of fans like to be like, it's fault, and they want to blame fault and all that. It didn't connect, and I think it didn't connect because Darius Slayton did drop it, but the throw could have been a little bit better. I even look at a guy like Carson Wentz, whose deep ball might be better than Daniel Jones. If you look at week 2, or was that week? That might have been week 1, actually, against the Jacksonville Jaguars with Washington. That deep pass to Terry McLaurin, man, it's like he throwing those deep passes where it's like, bro, if you don't catch this, you come back to the huddle, I'm smacking you. And you look at the 2 that he threw to Diami Brown in this past week on Sunday, you got to catch them. Great throws. So I think Daniel Jones has he's top 15, maybe top. Yeah, I'll give him top 15 in the league as far as the deep pass goes. But I think it's skewed with those numbers. I think they were PFF down the field throws, whatever, but he had the lowest amount of attempts that year, but he was very efficient. But I use my eyes when it comes to the deep ball a little bit more. So I think Daniel Jones, maybe on the cusp of top 15, somewhere around there. But let me just scroll real quick to make sure. I'm all caught up on the chat. Y'all been flying, man. Yo, shout out to ENA. We got time one time in the building for the $4.99 super chat. He said, just got here. I just want to say that's possibly a top 3, if not 2, Daniel Jones game considering the circumstances. Yeah, that's right up there, man. That was gutsy and unexpected. Like, we thought that Daniel Jones, if he was going to beat the Packers in this game, that it was probably going to be with his legs for the most part. And, I mean, he did his damage in the passing game, man. He really showed out, man. 21 to 27, 217 yards. First 200-yard game of the year, averaging 8 yards per pass. He was only sacked one time on the day, a QBR 75.2 and a passer rating of 100.2. So, I mean, the kid got it done, man. So, big salute to him. This one, when fans look back at it and look at the box office, they might not say this was, one of his best games. But I agree with you. I do think this was one of his best games, man. And salute to you for showing up, man, and appreciate the super chat as well. Joseph Clark in the building. What's up, Joseph? Hope all is well, brother. Mike Gorga in the building. I see you, fam. What up, fam? John B in the building. What up, man? We smoking that Packers pack today. Y'all know what it is over here at Awthentik and the Beard, man. Giant Overreaction. Week 5 edition, man. I'm just scrolling, man. My chat still ain't caught up. Oh, shout out to homie one time, man. What's poppin', Diggy? I hope all is well. Make sure y'all go check out Diggy's content. I know he dropped a new video. Definitely go check him out. Go show some love over there, man. Appreciate you pulling up my guy with the $5 super chat. He said, I noticed DJ doesn't get comfortable in games until he gets hit. He's a true football player, right? They say that about a lot of boxers. Like, you got to go out there and take a couple of punches before you really get warmed up, man. So I think DJ is the same way, man. And definitely appreciate you pulling up, Diggy, man, showing some love and rocking with us today on this Victory Monday, man, where the Giants beat the Packers 27-22, man. What a game. What a game. All right, just moving a couple things around here, man. The gang is in the building. Shout out MJ one time. He said we smoking that cheese pack. You heard? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. You already know. Big excited about that. Big excited about that, man. All right, so let's get into a couple more overreactions before we get y'all up out of here, man. It's been a great hour and a half so far, man. We've been over 100 in the building the whole show, man. Just big props to y'all for that, man. Salute to y'all to come here and just pull up and hear me talk my thoughts on the New York Giants, man. And, you know, feeling good on a Victory Monday, man. I'm going to enjoy this victory week to the fullest, man. I got some great sleep. I told y'all I ain't doing jack today. I'm chilling. I'm going to be on that Apex Legends with the homie Pat a little bit later. Pull up if you want to pull up, man. You already know it, Kid Blue. We smoking that pack indeed. Y'all know what it is, man. Giant Overreaction. Week 5 edition, man. Rocking with your boy Awthentik, man. Good to be here with y'all on this Monday afternoon, man. And let's get into this next one time, man. All right, so I like this one a lot, man. This one we're going to talk about coaching one time. I think this one's going to be a really easy one for y'all. I just wanted to bring some attention to the coaching staff. I think this one will be really easy for y'all, though. Let me see an O in the chat if you think this is an overreaction, or a U in the chat if you want to take the under and you agree with this statement, or if you need a couple more games on this one and you want to take the push, put the P in the chat one time. So this one is going to be about Mr. Brian Daboll himself. Comes from Mike Greenberg from ESPN. He said, Brian Daboll is the coach of the year, and it isn't even close. Giants Nation, what y'all think about that? Is Brian Daboll the coach of the year so far in the entire NFL? In the entire NFL, the New York Giants, we got the coach of the year. Is that what Mike Greenberg is saying? Let me know what y'all thoughts are on this one time. Let me see those O's, those P's, and those U's in the chat. Let me know what you're thinking one time, man. Give y'all a little bit of time to get your wits together, man, and we'll dive into my take on this one time. Let's go to this one time right here. Oh, yeah. Them U's is flying in early one time. Got my man David with the U one time. Diggy with the U. My man Jonathan with the U one time. Yankees Fest, or Yankees for Life. That is a little small on my screen with the U. Shout out to Yankees for Life one time in the building, man. I believe that's a new face, man. Appreciate you pulling up and rocking with us on this Monday for Victory Monday with the New York Giants over the Green Bay Packers, 27-22, led by that boy Daniel Jones one time. Sank in the building. He's taking the U one time. The Illa in the building one time. Shout out to Illa, man. Welcome back. Taking the U. I ain't seeing 1-0, so I think we good on this one. Jeff Maldo in the building. What up, Jeff? Hope all is going well on this Monday afternoon. He's taking the under as well. Book and Tackles in the building, taking that under as well. I'm going to save that. I'm going to say that comment because that's where I'm going with it. I like that comment, though. I like that comment. My man John B said, crank that Soldier Boy. I know that's right. Now, I mean you. That's right, boy. Definitely cranking that Soldier Boy on a Monday afternoon after that big W, man. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to John B one time in the building. And Miles in the building also taking a big under, man. Yeah, man. I'm with y'all on this one, man. I think we can keep this one nice and short. I'm taking the U, man. Just like everybody else in the building taking that U, man. I think he's spot on here. And I think that James Williams brought up a really good point here. I think that, the coach of the year is in the NFC East right now. A lot of people aren't talking about Nick Sirianni with the Eagles, and Nick Sirianni, man, he's doing fantastic things over there. They got a better roster than us, which is why I would give the edge to Brian Daboll. The Philadelphia Eagles, they're improving from what they did last season. Can't forget, they're a playoff team, from last year, even though I want to say it was, how many wins did they get in with? I got to look that up because I always am reaching for that, for the Eagles record from 2021. I can't remember if it was 7 wins or if it was 9 wins. And just looking this up while we get to that real quick. Yeah, it was 9 wins. They finished 9-8 last year. So, yeah, they're definitely improving from last year. Looking to be the front runners of the NFC East. But I do agree with James here. Definitely either going to be Brian Daboll or Nick Sirianni through 5 weeks of football. But Brian Daboll, man, holding it down. I think that the way he's done it has been more impressive than the way that Nick Sirianni has done it. So I'm in agreement with all of y'all, man. You know, I think we got to take the under on this one. I don't even see a lot of pushes. I just see a bunch of unders, man. So shout out to y'all. Bells with the under. A man of the culture with the under. Cyprian in the building one time. Cyprian Pinder. Reminds me of my homie from DC, Demont Pinder. Great artist, great painter from around the area, man. But shout out to you for pulling up, showing out, man. And I agree with you on this one. I'm taking that under as well. Let me see. Miles got an in-depth analysis on it. Miles says, based off where we were last year, you can't give coach of the year to anybody else right now. Already as many wins as last year. I know, that's ridiculous. That is, man, already as many wins as last year. I saw a graphic, and I did save this one, so I can pull this one up. I believe it's in these notes right here. So, Brian, you know, the Giants got their 4th win of the year here in week 5. And I'll tell you when we got our 4th win of the year in all the other years. In 2021, we didn't get our 4th win until week 12. Same thing for 2020. It took all the way up until week 12. In 2019, we didn't get our 4th win of the year until week 16, till the last week of the season. And then in 2018, it took all the way up to week 13 to get our 4th win of the year. And in 2017, we never got our 4th win of the year. So big shout out to Brian Dable, man. He's doing big things with the New York Giants. Limited, help with the roster and whatnot. And that's what I'm looking forward to is like, how is Joe Shane and Brian Dable going to adjust and get this roster to improve? And then what does that do for the coaching when they really get all the guys that they want in this locker room? It's going to be an amazing thing, man. I think the Giants are in store for an up and up next couple of years, man. And who knows, man, even this year, we have been probably the biggest surprise team of the year. And if we can find our way into the playoffs, man, for me, you get in the playoffs, everyone is 0-0. It does not matter. Clean slate. I'm going to be rooting for them Giants to get there, man. I hope it happens. And shout out to you, Miles. I like that take, too. Mike Gorga says that Slayton became wide receiver 1 by default a month after the... What is that supposed to be? Negotiation, I guess, maybe? Word. I feel you on that, Mike. Shout out to Mike one time in the building, man. I like that hat in the profile picture, too, man. Yeah, man. Greenberg is spot on right here. Greenberg is spot on right here. Love his take from Greenberg. Glad he's giving our flowers out early, too, man. It's only, after week 5, and you already giving out Coach of the Year to my man Brian Dable. Like, it's not even close. I love that. Great to see that from the national media, getting some attention for our New York Giants for sure. So I got a couple more before we get up out of here. I got two more overreactions before we get up out of here, man. Definitely appreciate all y'all rocking with us, man. Y'all know what it is over here at Awthentik in the Beard. We've been over 100 all day in here, man. That's love, man. I know everybody woke up today with the positive vibes in the Giants Nation, man, and it feels good to have a win on a Monday. Don't forget to check us out tomorrow night. Me and the Beard are going to be doing an in-depth analysis on the whole entire NFC East at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That'll be a pretty lengthy show as well, being that we don't have any games coming after that show. Thursday's preview, we tend to make those a little bit shorter with the Thursday night game. And the Washington Commanders will be taking on the Bears on Thursday night. So that's going to be an interesting show as well, too. So make sure y'all pull up for both of those. And to all the new faces in the building, we just hit 2,500 subscribers after 3 years of work. And salute to everyone who's been rocking with us and to all the new subscribers. If you want to join the family and join the gang over here at Awthentik in the Beard, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Y'all know what it is, man. All right. This one comes from the homie. I want to say it's Omar with 2 A's, OVO, one time in the building. I like this take right here. I thought this was a very interesting one that I could bring up on the show. And I think this one, I thought it could maybe split the room, to be honest. I thought that this one could split the room. Shout out to Sebastian one time in the building, too, for that $2 super chat, my guy. Definitely appreciate that. It's funny you bring this up, especially with my homie Patrick in the building. He says, you think we are going to be like last year's Bengals. Now, my homie Patrick always says there's always one team every year that's going to shock you, right? They're going to come out of left field. They're going to make a run. They're going to just surprise the hell out of everybody in the NFL. What's the other team right now that could be? I don't see it. I think it's the New York Giants. You could say that the Dallas Cowboys might have shocked a little bit, being that they had to have a backup quarterback out there for, 4 weeks now? I believe they've had a backup quarterback, and they've definitely been able to keep pace as well. But right now, through 5 weeks of the season, especially with that cherry-on-top victory against the Green Bay Packers, I will definitely say it. The New York Giants could very well likely be the Bengals of this year. We will see. Now, I say that with an asterisk, because if you follow Awthentik in the Beard, The Beard loves the Bengals. I told him on Sunday's show, he's low-key a Bengals fan on the low. He always tries to find a way on the parlay to pick a win for them or pick them to cover. You know, I know he liked the Bengals. I know he's a big Joe Burrow fan. But I thought that the Bengals kind of lucked up in the playoffs, which is what you really need sometimes, right? But I thought they lucked up in the playoffs 2 out of the 3 games. The Raiders pretty much should have beat them. I really thought that they could have been knocked out early on in that game. And then the Bengals defense did show up against Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs too. So I think that there was a bit of a flukeness that happened with them, you know, especially with all the offensive line issues that the Bengals had last year. They really shouldn't have been a Super Bowl team. And I'll die on this mountain saying that the Bills or the Chiefs really should have been in the Super Bowl. And I think that the AFC would have won the Super Bowl had that been the case, because the Rams really weren't the best team in the NFL. I think they just got hot at the right time. The signing of Odell Beckham definitely didn't hurt them. I mean, he came in there, put up 8 touchdowns immediately with just a half of a season. And then in the Super Bowl was looking like he was on his way to being the MVP. So I think he definitely helped them out. But I will always say that I think that the AFC should have won the Super Bowl and that the Bengals probably shouldn't have been there. But that's why you play the games. And Burrow went out there and they did what they had to do to get the dub. So, yeah, I as of right now, I think the New York Giants are the 2022 Bengals. I will say that. But shout out to you, Sebastian. I appreciate the super chat one time, man. Definitely goes a long way over here on the channel, man. That means a ton to us, man. Upgrades in the graphics department, man. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. But re-sign DJ, re-sign Saquon, and draft or trade for some real wide receivers. The real thing to look at in this statement is it too early to say all of this? What y'all think about this one, Giants Nation? Y'all think it's too early to be talking like this? Re-sign DJ, re-sign Saquon, and then draft or trade for some real wide receivers out here? Let me know if you think this is an overreaction to say that this is too early. Or let me know if you agree with the statement on the scene or on the screen or on the scene. It could be the scene too. And you want to take the under in this one. And if you want to take the push like the homie J. Jean just did, let me see that P or the hand emoji one time. I'll give y'all a little bit of time to get your wits together, and then we will dive into this one. Yo, Cherry Coke is fire. My God. All right, we rolling in here. Okay. Shout out to Coach Taylor in the building one time. He's taking the under on this one. He agrees with the statement on the screen. A man of the culture is taking it under as well. Shout out Edward Squires taking a push and a bit of the under here. Kind of weighing this out, trying to see where he want to go with it. Might need another game or two. James Jones in the building one time, taking an overreaction along with Diggy as well, and ENA We Got Time. Bubs is in the building. What's up, Bubs? I hope all is well, man. On this Monday afternoon, man, I'm feeling real good myself. Hope you enjoying this Packers pack on a Monday afternoon one time. Taking that push one time. My man Brian says, he's taking the under, first of all, and then he says, how many subs until the graphics department gets actual humans working there? First of all, it's going to take a little bit of a trust factor from Awthentik, man, because for you to be working the graphics department, you know the threshold is pretty high over here on Awthentik and the Beard. The graphics got to be fire. But I'm looking to maybe hire an intern soon or something like that. But the way my schedule's set up, man, I'll be doing these graphics late in the middle of the night. We never know. I'd say it's going to be another 2 years of Awthentik and the Beard still working in the graphics department. You know what I'm saying? We'll see. But I ain't afraid to get the hands a little dirty, Brian. It's all good, you know. Shout out James Earl Moans one time in the building. He's taking the push on this one and says, tag him. I like that take right there one time. Lou Mateo says, I would like to trade picks for D-Hop. Wow, that would be amazing. I don't know if the Cardinals will let him go, man. Dealing with that suspension right now. Definitely getting a slow start to the season, but we'll see how that goes. Cyprian is taking the push one time on this one. John is in the building one time. Salute to John. Welcome to the fam, brother. Taking the under on this one. Caitlin Dragon 56. That got to be followed by one of these. My man in the building. What's going on, Caitlin? Hope all is well. He's taking the under on this one. Stan says, overreaction for 8, under for 26, and overreaction for trade for the draft. Okay. I like that. I'm not too mad at that. I know Stan is, like I always tell y'all, Daniel Jones is in the north end zone, right? Or let's say Daniel Jones is in the south end zone on the 1 yard line, getting ready to call the play. It's not going to be a quarterback sneak. Stan is on the opposite side in the north end zone in the crowd on the stance of Daniel Jones. We getting you over here though. I know, beginning of the year you was like, we're gonna lose them all. We're 3 wins. And I know, Stan, but we slowly but surely reeling you in. Shout out my man Stan one time in the building, man. What else we got? Kuda Bang is in the building one time, or Cutta Bang is in the building. Shout out to Cutta Bang in the building, man. That's a new face. Welcome to the fan, brother. Taking the under one time. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets taking the under. And he says, Marjorie dropped a nugget. Giants are reaching out to other teams for wide receivers. This is a new team. I like that. The Illa one time in the building, still taking the push. A man of the culture taking the push. Let me see what else we got. My man Lesnar is in the building. What's going on, Lesnar? Hope all is well, fam. Welcome to the Giants fam over here with Awthentik and the Beard, man. Lesnar is taking the U, says give DJ a fair short-term contract. I like that idea, too. That's fire right there. Trying to get to all of y'all, man. Y'all know we taking our time on this Victory Monday, man. We chilling in here, man. We going to spend some time, a couple hours or something at least, for that victory against them Green Bay Packers in London, man. We went out there and smoked that Green Bay Pack easy. That was a great win, man. Love the fourth quarter comeback by the Giants, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's the kind of football we love to see, especially as a content creator, man, who's literally been reporting a bunch of L's straight up for 3 seasons, man. To finally get some W's is fantastic, man. So salute to the Giants Nation, man. I know everybody's smiling ear to ear, man, on this Monday. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And Cutta Bang added a little bit to it. He says, I think we sign DJ if we can get him back for cheap and have him compete with whatever quarterback we draft. Competition good for everybody. I do think Dable and them still want their own guy. Yeah, I kind of agree with you on that. And that'll lead me to my take on this. I'm taking the push on this whole statement right now. But re-sign is what I think is very tricky on this. Like, how do they re-sign him? Is it a tag? Is it a 2-year deal? Somebody mentioned to me on one of the last shows, what if they gave him like a Jameis Winston type deal? Jameis Winston is one who took a very, very, very cheap deal with the Saints, and it was his 2nd year with them. If DJ is willing to take a deal like Jameis Winston, I'm taking the under on this, and I'm with it. It's not too early to say this. It just depends on how you spend the bag, Like, I also don't think I want to pay Saquon Barkley top dollar, but I also don't want to see Saquon Barkley go to another team and light it up as well. So I'm willing to give Saquon the money for sure. I think drafting or trading for some real talent at the wide receiver position is that's a no-brainer. Like, you got to do that. The way that this wide receiver core has struggled all year long, you got to find a way to bring in some talent or, find a way to develop the talent that's on the roster. And I think Darius Slayton's game this past week was a nod to that, like the Darius Slayton could be a guy moving forward, like that the Giants could bring back. You never know. And if he continues to do that, I think he's earned the trust of the coaching staff. He could be one of the pieces that remains. I think Richie James has already done that. A lot of people still sleeping on Richie James, but I like Richie James. And then you can't forget about the guys that are injured in Wan'Dale Robinson and in Kadarius Toney. And I'm trying to figure out what to do with Kenny Golladay and that contract, which we know that contract is a nightmare right now. Kenny Golladay has not been producing, and now he's been on the sideline with the injury to his knee. So we'll see how it goes. But for me, I'll say, I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under on this. I think it all depends on how you re-sign DJ. Got to re-sign Saquon. You got to go out there and get some wide receiver talent. I think that's a definite no-brainer for sure, man. And I see Dilla says, Hopkins on his way down. Could mean 2 things. I don't know if he means like on his way down like to New York or if he means like on his way down as far as his play. 2 years ago, Hopkins was like undeniably the guy. He was top 3 in the NFL for sure. And like skill set wise, I've always thought D-Hop was one of the best in the league. Definitely like D-Hop. I would welcome D-Hop over here with open arms. John B says we need Marvin Harrison Jr. now. He went off. Yeah, I would totally draft him. That'd be amazing. And who else is in here? Cyprian says, sign Saquon now, DJ, wait for the end of the year. I like that take, too. And shout out Bryce Carswell in the building one time. That's a new face, man. Appreciate you pulling up, bro. Welcome to the fan, man. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't. Definitely goes a long way to help this channel out, man. And y'all hit that like button as well, man, to get this out to the YouTube algorithm. We're doing this extremely organic over here. Bryce says, I think a tag for Saquon is a good deal. for him and the team. Running back is a tough position and also injury prone. Yeah, I think that, Saquon has dealt with some injuries. I don't like to use the injury prone term, but he has dealt with some injuries, and that was scary to see him go down with the shoulder injury Sunday morning. I was extremely worried because I already knew what the narrative was going to be there. If he had to sit out a couple of weeks, they were going to be like, okay, here we go again. So hopefully Saquon's got it all together over there, man, and, the injury is nothing, severe or nothing like that, and he's back out there next week against the Baltimore Ravens. But shout out to you, Bryce. I appreciate you pulling up in the building, man. Welcome to the fam. I don't think I've ever seen you in the chat. And if you're digging the vibes, hit that sub button, man. Tell a friend to tell a friend about Awthentik and the Beard over here. Y'all know how we doing. MJ's got an explanation for this as well, too. MJ says he's taking the under. DJ is still giving me Eli vibes with his bloody hand. DJ and Barkley can win us a ring one day. Resign both. I like that, man. I like the confidence you come in with this take too, man. That's definitely important. And DJ's played good ball, man. Everyone was waiting for him to get a competent coach calling the plays for him. That's exactly what we got in Brian Dable and Mike Kafka, and you're seeing DJ reap the benefit from it. In games that statistically, you look back in Daniel Jones' career where he would light it up and have 4 touchdowns. You could look at the games against the Detroit Lions and against the New York Jets from 2019, and you could see right there, like, he lit it up, but we lost the games. So at the end of the day, Brian Dable's finding a way to have it where Daniel Jones doesn't have to light up the stat box, and he can still win games and be a competent game manager and use his legs to make key first downs and make key plays. And I'm enjoying it, man. I'm all for it, man. Whoever's at the quarterback position, I want to see them excel, man. And everybody knows I was extremely critical about Daniel Jones in the offseason and, talking about I've seen the assessment. I know the kind of quarterback he is. And I know that he, going into this year, I knew that he was capable of doing what he's doing right now. I definitely knew that. Daniel Jones is the kind of quarterback. He can make the throws. He can do things in the pocket to be able to escape and make the runs, and he runs the RPO pretty decent. I was one coming into the year worried about the injuries. I told the Giants, pump the brake on the RPOs, and it seems like that's kind of exactly what they're doing now. They're using designed runs and stuff like that. But we're not some team that's just like going out here literally just handing the ball off and then relying on DJ to do read option and RPO and stuff like that. So there's a well-rounded playbook in place here with this team, and I'm all for it, man. I'm loving it. I definitely like that take though, MJ. And MJ also added to it. He said DJ also first guy in, last guy out. The locker room loves him and believes in him too. Now the coaches are starting to believe in him too. He's coming back. It's obvious to me. Yeah, that's what's up. I think for a lot of Giants fans, it might not be obvious. I like how you said it's obvious to me to speak for yourself. That's important. But the more he plays like this, to me, it's going to be more obvious. Week 1, I was like, I don't think we bring back Daniel Jones. Week 3, I'm kind of like, he's playing pretty good. Week 4, I'm like, hey, this guy's definitely the reason why we're winning games, even though we didn't win that game. I'm like, this is a reason why we're winning games. Now, week 5, I'm like, this guy just went out there and beat Green Bay Packers with no wide receivers out there, and he did it throwing the ball. First 200-yard game of the year. A lot of people are going to be ragging on him for that, but, yeah, he's doing damage right now. I'm here to get that man the big bouquet of flowers today on this Monday. So, like this take, I'm going to say re-sign DJ, re-sign Saquon, go out there, get me some wide receiver talent, and we'll be good, man. This team is on the up and up right now, and it's a beautiful thing, man, to see it after so many years of losing. And shout out to Perry Mack one time in the building. Perry Mack says this looks like a football team. Finally. Thank you, Buffalo. That's why I kind of want to go when we do our next color rush vibe. I want to kind of copy Buffalo's. Buffalo got the all blue with the white helmet. I just think that would look so fire to go blue pants, blue jersey, and then a white Giants helmet with the old school logo on it. I think that would be so fire, man, and just big blue on a color rush. I'm not trying to see the all-white uniforms on color rush. I want the big blue. But shout out to Perry Mack one time in the building, man. Salute to you. And he said, I like this too. He said, do we get a Giants versus Bills Super Bowl? Now, that would be a revenge game. Yeah, that would be one for the record books. That would be amazing. I hope so, man. Crossing my fingers over here, man. Y'all know what it is. And just catching up to the chat one time. Okay, so we good on that. Yeah, man. So I think that does it for the Giant overreactions today, man. Let me see them biceps in the chat one time, man, before we get up out of here, man. If y'all got any last final statements, any last final questions y'all want to, you want me to pull up and address, man, definitely pop them in the chat, man. I want to hit that 2-hour mark. We sitting at about a good 10 minutes right underneath the 2-hour mark. I want to hit that. The Giants deserve a 2-hour mark, man, on a victory Monday like this after that win against the Packers. So we're going to just chill for a little bit here, man. Shout out to everybody dropping those biceps in the building. Shout out my guy, The Beard, one time in the building. Y'all know what it is, man. Awthentik in the Beard over here trying to bring y'all that high-quality content consistently, man. Salute to the gang. Salute to the nation one time, man. We out here doing big things. Sitting at 4-1, man. Smoking that Green Bay pack right now, man. Can't wait to get off. Just chill. Enjoy the rest of my day, man. I said I'm taking a day off, man. I ain't doing jack today. I'm going to be chilling. I'm going to try to eat good. I'm going to try to get involved with some of this Green Bay Packers pack. I'm going to be on some Apex a little bit later if you want to pull up and join me and the homies, man. It's Awthentik music on the Xbox, gamer tag, and whatnot. We chilling, man. We going to enjoy this victory today, man. And, yeah, man, it is what it is over here, man. You know what it is, man. I see we got another super chat one time, man, from the homie one time. No Mets, no Nets, no Jets. I like that, too, man, because I'm no Mets. I'm definitely no damn Nets. I'm definitely no damn Jets, even though the Jets right now are looking all right, too. I think the Jets are sitting at 3-2. This is like the first time both of these teams been over 500 since like 2016. So salute to the whole entire New York and New Jersey area, man. I know y'all feeling good today, man, after both the local teams get a W, man. I'm down here in D.C. just cooling. I appreciate the Beard for rocking with me and reminding me that I got to do the Manscaped read one time. So let me go ahead and get that one out the way, too, while y'all populate some of your last questions here. And I see Lou Mateo got one in there. I'm going to get to that in 1 second. Let me get this read out the way one time. So today's Giant Overreaction Week 5 edition support is brought to you by Manscaped, who is the best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Their products are precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Bars by the Manscaped committee over there. Manscaped's Performance Package, the ultimate men's hygiene bundle. Join over 6 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer to you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code AATB, that's like Awthentik and the Beard, at manscaped.com. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code AATB at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the code AATB. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job, man. Salute to the Beard for reminding me on that. I had to remind him last week that we had to do that. That's why we got the left side, strong side tandem, man. You know, one of us. I like how you put the bars in the chat, too. Salute to you, man. J. Gene, be good. We'll catch you, man. Enjoy your week. This will be a fantastic victory week, man. It's going to be a long week. You know, when we get these W's like this, they tend to just, you know, hang out. You know, it's like you be looking up like it ain't even Thursday. 2 days went by. I feel like a whole week done passed. So for me, I'm going to enjoy it. I know we got a tough matchup coming up, man. At the moment, I'm looking at that Ravens game. That's gonna be a tough one to come out with a victory. So enjoy the rest of the week, J. Gene. I definitely appreciate you pulling up. And let me get to this one by Steven R. Shout out to Steven, man. Steven's been very active in the chat, very active on the comments on our page, man. Definitely appreciate you, Steven. He says, Ravens don't scare me, 100. I said if we beat the Packers, we can beat the Ravens, definitely with the defensive performance / game plan from Wink. Yeah, that's real, man. I'm not scared of the game. I do think that, you know, with the Ravens matchup, the Giants are going to have to get off to a better start. Can't start like we did against the Packers and get down 17-3 again like that. Lamar Jackson's going to eat us up in that running game. He's going to kill clock, control the time of possession. And I think it'll give us no chance if we don't start off on the right foot. Offensively, you got to come out here and put some points up on the board early. That's the one thing that the Giants have struggled with all season long is getting points up in the first half. You know, I think that 10 points was the most we've scored in the first half all season long. So definitely got to find a way to be able to put these points up early, man, and often. And, you know, the Ravens have shown you that, you know, even last night against the Cincinnati Bengals, they didn't light up the scoreboard. You know, they barely snuck out of that game. I want to say it was a 2-point victory, like 19-17 or something like that. So if we can keep the game close like that, be able to control the clock with Saquon Barkley on the ground, I agree with you, Steven. I don't think they scare me. I'm a little worried about the game. I don't think they scare me like that, though. And I'm definitely with you on that. Stan was down there at the game yesterday with the Ravens. And he had some great seats, man. He was sitting in the lower level, man. And I've been to the Ravens Stadium one time. That when you sit in the lower level at the Ravens Stadium, you feel like you're literally like on the field. I mean, it's that stadium is beautiful to watch the games. And he said that the Ravens didn't scare him much either. He said we got a chance to win it. And Stan has been pretty pessimistic, about the New York Giants this year, with low expectations especially. And to hear that from him, I think that holds a lot of weight to it as well. So, yeah, I'm not too scared of the Ravens as well. I just think containing Lamar Jackson. I was just watching Lamar yesterday, and I was just like, man, what it would be like to be a Ravens fan and have that be your quarterback is just amazing. It's really amazing. That kid is playing great football, and I like what Duvernay brings to the wide receiver core, man. And they use Duvernay very creative, reverses and little short runs and things like that. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Ravens' offense for sure. Their defense, pass defense, been struggling all year. They came into last week's matchup dead last in pass defense. So I definitely think we're going to have to throw the ball on them. They're better against the run, but got to get it all clicking. I'm looking forward to that matchup. I'm going to be deep diving and getting some nuggets ready for that Thursday preview show. Y'all make sure y'all pull up on Thursday for that one, man. We'll be going over the Ravens game versus the Giants and all the NFC East matchups, man. NFC East, we hear, man, that the Philadelphia Eagles look very impressive, man. And I wonder what the Dallas Cowboys are going to look like when they get Dak Prescott back in that lineup. Because with Cooper Rush, they've looked great. My man C-Ban said, bring back the homie DeAndre Baker. I'm going to pass on that, C-Ban. But shout out to the homie C-Ban one time in the building, man. Oh, yeah, and the Beard saying that the Beard told y'all on Parlay the Zach Attack is back, Jack. That's the facts. Talking about Zach Wilson over there with the New York Jets, man. I'm not sold yet, Beard. I still ain't sold. And had a question from Lou Mateo one time. He says, question, does Landon Collins help this team or mess up the chemistry? The thing about this team, especially defensively, it doesn't rely on one player. I think that Wink Martindale does a good job of just, scheming players and putting them in the right position. And I think Landon Collins is going to help this team. I 100% do think that. If we get to see him on the field, you can't forget, they brought him up now in the practice squad. They liked the workout. They thought the workout went really well. And we need help at the linebacker position. And outside of the linebacker position, we just need some depth. When you see a guy like Julian Love go down and get hurt in a game, and then you really don't have too much depth behind him. We also saw Fabian Moreau, the ex-Washington Commander cornerback, get hurt in this game, get banged up as well. So you need depth out there. And I'm not saying you're going to throw Landon Collins at cornerback, but if you have a guy like him as a depth piece, who knows what you could do? You can move some players around. Especially if a guy like Julian Love goes down, I think Landon Collins is the perfect fit to fill in for him because Julian Love has been showing up in that box, man. He's been making a lot of tackles. He's led our team in tackles 2 weeks now out of the 5 weeks that we played on the season. So I like it. And I talked about this too. When Leonard Williams went out against the Carolina Panthers in the third quarter, that's when you saw CMC get the big run. And then the following week against the Dallas Cowboys, it's our worst game defensively against the rush all year long. Zeke Elliott and Tony Pollard, they both went off in that game. So, it's a depth thing. Each piece on this defense helps the other piece. So when you lose a guy like Leonard Williams, you're going to need other guys to step up out there, man. So I like the fact of Landon Collins coming here and also that this coaching staff was willing to give him a second opportunity, which says a lot, for a guy who was already a New York Giant for a long time. And we started to kind of see his play diminish a little bit, went over to Washington, got the bag over there. And now you're looking at, Landon Collins kind of fighting for his NFL life. He didn't have a job earlier this year. So I like the pickup. I think it's good. I think I trust Wink Martindale to be able to put Landon Collins in a good position. And he said in the press conference the week that we signed Landon Collins, he said, I believe it was Pat Leonard that asked him about Landon Collins, and he said, Landon Collins in Washington didn't really want to play the linebacker position, and that's why they had a lot of beef over there. And Wink had the perfect answer. He just said, listen, man, this defense is positionless. We're going to find a place that Landon Collins is comfortable with, and we're going to find a way to get him out there on the field. So I love that. So I do think that we're going to be able to find a way to, put Landon Collins in position. I hope we can see him out there against the Ravens. I mean, he'd be a great kind of player to be able to spy a guy like Lamar Jackson too. So we'll see how it goes, man. But I'm all on board. Everybody's going to be able to break out those old 21 jerseys, man, and be able to rock some old Landon Collins jerseys. I hope y'all didn't get rid of them. Because I'm sure he's going to be wearing that 21. I don't think anybody's wearing that jersey right now. So shout out to Landon Collins, man. It's going to be good to see him back in blue. Good to see him with a job. He's definitely a capable player. He should have been out there on the field for somebody this year. And it's fortunate for Giants fans that he wasn't, because now we got another player that we can add and another depth piece that we can bring back out there. But shout out to you, Lou. Appreciate you being active in the chat as well, too. Just scrolling down here. My man said, bro, Baker. Shout out Zayden all day one time in the building. New face. Appreciate you pulling up, fam. And Bubs had something to say about it too. Bubs said, Collins will be good. Just don't have him in coverage on a tight end. Yeah, that's where he struggled. And, I think Wink has been doing a good job of that too, of not having those matchups that we're accustomed to seeing. It reminds me of last year. Tay Crowder was out there at the Washington game that I was at, and they ran the wheel route with J.D. McKissick, and he beat us on that wheel route for like 60 yards. And even Patrick Graham learned from that. He was like, okay, I can't have Tay Crowder out here covering running backs and whatnot. And, we haven't seen Tay Crowder in coverage the last couple of weeks, as a liability. So this week we saw like six defensive backs out there, man. It's crazy seeing that many defensive backs out there, man. And, but Wink is doing a good job of just like putting smaller personnel out there, but also, making sure that we don't get burned on these plays, where you would have those mismatches from the linebackers. But Bubs, you spot on that, man. You cannot have Landon Collins doing too many duties in the coverage for sure, man. Got to keep him off that. So I definitely agree with you on that one there. Kalen says my fantasy teams are killing it this year. Awthentik. That's what's up, man. I just got to win, man. I fell on a 3-game losing streak in my fantasy. I won week 1, lost 3 weeks in a row, and I just got back into the W column. So I'm sitting at 2-3, but I'm confident in my team. I need George Kittle to get it together at the tight end position. But it seems for me, whenever Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs have a big game, I win. So I'm relying upon the Buffalo Bills, just like the New York Giants are. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to you, Kalen, man. Glad to hear your fantasy team is killing it. And Chat69 is in the building. Shout out to Chat69 on this victory Monday. Even Chat69 knows the Giants is going up right now. Let me see what Mike Gorga's talking about here. Mike Gorga with a little in-depth take here. He says, OBJ, 6 to 8 weeks from able to play, just 9 months removed from the ACL. He should take the rest of the year off. Yeah, it might not be a bad idea, man. I mean, I think if the right opportunity presents itself, for him to, sign the dotted line with the right team and be able to make an impact, I think like the Bills could be a good team. The Cowboys might be a good fit, but not a good team. And I think the Cowboys now, they have found help in the wide receiver department elsewhere, where they might have not thought that, guys like, what's my one? Noah Brown. You don't think a guy like that's going to be shining. And then you got Gallup coming back, scoring touchdowns immediately when he gets back in the lineup. Maybe they don't need him. Packers could maybe use him. But, yeah, that might be a good idea, man. Maybe just sit it out. Like 6 to 8 weeks, it's like you get down here towards the end of the year. You're not going to make that big of an impact. People already know you can play when you're healthy. So, yeah, maybe that is a good idea. And I'm rooting for OBJ, man. He's one player I always want to see excel, man. I hate that Dave Gettleman had to trade him. It'd be awesome to have OBJ still over here. Could you imagine Saquon, Daniel Jones, OBJ, and then some of these players they've drafted? It would have helped out Kadarius Toney, but he probably wouldn't have got drafted, to be honest. But definitely could have helped us out, man. We need the help in that wide receiver department. But, yeah, I like this take, Mike. That's a good take, fam. And let me see. Let's see. Oh, shout out to Lucas in the building one time. What's going on, Lucas? Hope all is well over there, man. Across the pond. One time, says Marcus Williams was just put on IR for the Ravens. They're beat up. Ronnie Stanley is back, but rusty from missing the last 2 years. I mean, yeah, that's a good point, man. If we could catch them slipping on a week like this where they're dealing with some injuries and are banged up, I mean, it'll be amazing. I'm going to go into that Ravens game very similar to how I went into this Packers game. I'm going to be weary. And I picked us to beat the Packers. I don't know if I'm going to pick us to beat the Ravens just yet, but it's the same kind of vibes. It reminds me of the Titans game the first week where I picked us to beat the Titans as well. It reminds me of this Packers game in week 5. I picked us to beat the Packers. Week 6 against the Ravens, I think it's very similar. But of those 3 teams, I think the Ravens are the best team. I think the Packers are definitely taking a step back here, especially offensively. And the Titans, we know they've regressed a little bit, but kind of starting to get the wheels back rolling now. Seeing Derrick Henry, he got his first 100-yard game last week. And, he's finding his way in the end zone and whatnot. But I do think that the Ravens are going to be the toughest matchup out of those 3. Well, we'll see, man. If we can win another surprise game, we beat the Ravens. I'm going to be acting a fool this week on Twitter. If we beat the Ravens, I'm really going to be acting a fool. So I hope that goes down. I really hope that goes down. And Zayden also brought this up. Zayden said, whole time, we just needed a real GM and a real coach. I feel the biggest play DJ had was when he threw the ball away in the back of the end zone. That showed that showed me growth. Low-key, big. 2 plays later, touchdown. Yeah, you're right about that. See, and those are them plays that we saw a couple years ago where you'd be like, man, Daniel Jones tried to throw it away, and he don't get it quite all the way out of bounds like that game against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and then, bam, you get an interception. Or you take a third down sack that knocks us out of field goal range. The other thing I've been noticing about this team, too, is that you're not getting those costly penalties in those pivotal situations. Like, I can remember the Atlanta game last year was a big one for me. Daniel Jones had a chance late in that game to drive down and either tie it up or take the lead. We get down to like a 2nd and 10, and Nate Solder jumps off sides, and now you're looking at 2nd and 15. There are so many games where you get a holding penalty in the red zone to knock us out of contention to be able to try to put the ball in the end zone. Then you got to settle for 3. And this year, you're just not seeing that as much. And I think a lot of that has to do with the coaching. Some people think that, jumping off sides is solely on the players. That's not for me. I think that's it's how you build the culture and the temperament of the team to be able to be disciplined and go out there and not jump off sides. And we're looking a lot better in that department this year. So, Zayden, I'm with you 100% on this, man. Like, Daniel Jones is showing growth. He's a mature quarterback out there. He's always been good with the media. He's always been gritty. I feel like, he's a guy who's not going to tell you too much when you get to the press conferences. He's going to take the blame and give other players all the credit. I mean, he's, those are the reasons why they got him. And, they compared him to Eli Manning is because of those similarities and whatnot. But totally different quarterback, and I'm rooting for the kid, man. I want to see him light it up. We still haven't seen that game yet this year, where Daniel Jones really lights it up and goes crazy. That would be so amazing to see that against the Ravens after this performance on Sunday against the Packers. So I'm rooting for the kid, man. I hope that's what goes down. Appreciate you, Zayden, pulling up, man, and rocking with us one time on this Monday. Yep, it's definitely Winks revenge game. I'm looking forward to it, man. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a good one. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Let me just see. I'm just catching up with the chat. Shout out to Juan Wilson one time in the building, man. New face says, peace. I said it before. Daniel Jones is competent. No quarterback is perfect. You simply need competence. But he adds agility, so let's ride. I like that. That's that Russell Wilson, that Broncos Nation. Let's ride. I like that. Shout out to Juan Wilson in the building one time, man. Welcome to the fan, man. I don't know if you've been watching low-key on the low and whatnot, but appreciate you pulling up and making your presence felt, man. That's a good statement you make there about the quarterback one time. Oh, Slayton got some love. Slayton got big love in the opener. Talked about him, one of the key players in this matchup, Lucas. Slayton did his thing, man. So big props to that guy, man. I think he showed up with, I can pull up the numbers right here one time. He showed up with the 6 catches for 79 yards, man, on 7 targets, man. I hope they use this guy more in the game plan. Slayton, we know he's got the speed, man. The hands was a question mark for sure, man. But, yeah, Slayton got big flowers, as the beer's saying right here. He got big flowers, man, on a Monday afternoon, man. So, yeah, man, I'm excited, man. I'm just like, cannot believe the Giants are 4-1, man. But it is what it is. You got to take it how it is. We got room to improve, obviously. I know they're going to go back to the drawing board, get things, all in line and try to improve this team and get us better. Love the way that Brian Dable was running off the field, man. Just so hype. He gives Joe Shane that high five, man, and Joe Shane, gives him a noogie, on the head, like one of those joints, man. I was like, man, look at these dudes having a great time in London. I'm sure they partied their faces off after that game. Maybe got a pint or something, man, and shared a couple drinks. That'll be awesome for them, man. They deserve it. This coaching staff, man, has surprised, man. And we know coming from that Joe Judge regime, man, things was looking really ugly. So big shout out to them. Big shout out to Daniel Jones, Darius Slayton, this whole entire team, man. This defense, man, they all did it, man. They really showed up and showed out against them Packers in a game where everyone counted them out, man. On NFL.com, all 8 of the people picked the Packers to win this game pretty convincingly, too, at least by a touchdown. And the Giants go out there, man, and just go out there and just take care of business, man. I can't ask for more, man. And I'm going to enjoy this victory week, man. Y'all know what it is. I appreciate all of y'all pulling up, man. Shout out to Steven Arce one more time, too. He says Wink will come up with a masterful game plan to stop Lamar, just like he missed 2 throws back-to-back. Yeah, man, the throws that he missed back-to-back, I know those, really, really bothered him. I was watching that game with my girl, and I pointed out those 2 plays. I was like, yo, those are the plays that if they lose this game, they're going to look back at those 2 and go, man, how did you miss 2 deep down the field throws back-to-back? One of them was on a 4th and 2 where they went for it, and Lamar was kind of pinned. He wanted to run it, didn't really have nothing, and saw that he had no help over the top. His wide receiver had the man beat. You got to put that ball on him. Look like he kind of rushed it a little bit. But yeah, those are those throws you got to make. And then Stephen Arts also says, contain the edge, make Lamar beat you with his arm, not his legs. We beat the Ravens. Easy games are W's. That's what's up, man. Shout out to Stephen Arts one time. We'll see, man. Don't forget, I will be breaking down this game with the Beard on Thursday, that Ravens matchup at 7 p.m. And also, we'll be breaking down the NFC East games from this past Sunday tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, man. Before we get up out of here, I need everybody. This is like being at a rap show telling people to put their hands up. All right? I need everybody to put them biceps in the chat one time for this New York Giants team, man. Big salute to the whole entire coaching staff. Everybody on this roster, man. Everybody contributed to that Giants win, man. You needed all hands on deck, and that's exactly what we got, man. Yeah, ours definitely had us losing 23-6. Come on, cuz. 6 points? Come on, cuz. Come on, man. Definitely, man. But I definitely appreciate all y'all pulling up in the building, man. I think we got everything covered here, man. You know, I just wanted to come and just bring a good vibe today, man. I just wanted to bring a good vibe to the Giants Nation. Feel good about our Monday after that big victory against the Green Bay Packers, 27-22. I had picked the score to be 23-20 New York Giants. They gave me an extra touchdown. I ain't gonna complain, man. Big shout out to everybody on this squad, man. They did their thing, man. And shout out to everybody in this chat one time. I see you, Pat. I'm about to pull up on that Apex here in a second. Y'all be good. Y'all know what it is over here on Awthentik and the Beard, man. Keep raising that bar. Keep living those dreams, man. The universe flows in technicolor, as my man Combat Jack would say. Rest in peace to the GOAT of this podcasting stuff one time, man. Definitely was an inspiration for me to get off into this podcasting stuff. So salute to him. Y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. Don't forget to pull up on us tomorrow, 7 p.m., same place, Eastern Standard Time. Y'all know what it is. I'm over here in Washington, D.C. All y'all New York heads, 7 o'clock. I will see y'all. Until then, man, enjoy this Victory Monday, man. Go on Twitter. Go talk your smack to all them fans in the NFC East. We coming for y'all heads. Y'all know what it is, man. I will catch y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all be good.